Right. Good evening and welcome everyone back to Void Dwarf Studios and our little D&D one-shot, where our heroic, maybe, adventurers are going to slay a dragon. Maybe. Possibly. We're not sure. We'll find out.
Or force feed it a lot of meat in tins.
Yes, indeed. Because a lot of you are wearing plate armour.
It's almost like it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
Although if we're in a desert, maybe not.
But we got plate.
Huh? Tanya has a triangle of destruction. Not a magic item, she just has a triangle she can play magical spells from. Because bards...
As a bard, cast spells by playing a clarinet or a violin or beating a drum as we go into combat. You wait till the end of the combat and then go, ting!
Yes! Tanya is grinning from ear to ear.
Finally.
I have a flute and bongos as well.
It's
so
true.
I didn't just get it.
She's a multi-talented musician, you see.
Yeah. I am now, however, earnestly waiting for the end of the fight, where she kind of walks on top of the dragon's corpse, raises the triangle high and goes, ting!
Explore pack. Oh, I've got a scroll of pedigree.
Yep. Actually, this is probably a good place to start. Shall we walk down the line and introduce everyone? Tim Titan, who will you be playing this evening?
I am playing Sir Rillian Stormblessed, a noble and paladin of Hieronymus.
Wow, that is a paladin name. Right.
You see him from a mile away and you go, yup, that's a paladin, all right.
It's now that I've answered the thing that you're going to ask me.
Yes.
My character doesn't have a name.
It's true, you've not given her a name yet.
Do you give it a nickname?
What is her nickname? Mrs. T, the triangle?
No.
What will her name be? Shall we cycle back around? Okay, we'll cycle back around. Sam, the Ever Madness, who are you playing this evening?
Just give me a sec. I'm going to copy the name, so no one going to misspell it if I don't.
Right, in that case, we will jump the middle two and go to the very end. George, who are you playing this evening?
I put it in the profile. I am Glarus Amphorn, a tiefling cleric of life.
Awesome.
Who wants to try and spread good things in the world.
Excellent.
You can tell the siblings of...
we can tell you're both woods. You're both very indecisive. That's right.
Actually,
Apologies. Woods and wolves.
I had a name, I just
Wolves,
can't pronounce
wolves,
it.
I feel like you could also divide it by veterancy at this point.
It's Welsh.
Yeah.
It means war.
2 years of D&D, man. 2 years.
Yeah, I just used a random name generator.
Michael can think of a name as we go along.
Am I going to think of a name for your wood elf?
Yeah. Woody does not count.
Damn.
That was my nickname in school.
Wood elf name off the top of my head.
I'll put one in a random name generator.
Put one in a random name generator.
You carry on with
So, Sam. Sorry?
You first, Tim.
I was suggesting Alaris Cedarleaf, but you know.
I was going to go with the stage name, but you can have something a bit more freeform or silly if you want that way. The serious name to be revealed later.
It's like, when you last longer than 5 minutes, I shall reveal my true name.
Once you've been in this game a year, I shall tell you my name.
So, Sam, who is Tullisus Terentius?
The heir to the Lord Protector of the Stone Keep. Tiefling Fighter Champion.
Awesome.
Oh my god, another tiefling.
Yeah.
Sam's always
It's true, Sam's always... Tanya's always
to be fair,
Tanya's always a wood elf. Sam is always a tiefling.
I'm a bard this time. A wood elf bard.
You're a wood elf bard, yes. You have evolved. You're no longer just wood elf.
No.
You're a wood elf bard.
Thank you.
Yep.
To be fair, I'm kind of sad I couldn't be of the blood of Manifeston because I really like having flamethrower at 3rd level.
Always
But
fun.
I would play the Dragon Lord character we thought of, but then I was thinking, no, I'm going to say that to an actual campaign.
That's true. If all goes well, then I have written, or at least started writing. Excuse me, burps. Fizzy drinks. I have started writing a full-length campaign, which you guys can all take part in and make things either better or worse for the world, whichever you so choose.
Is this the one that links to the one that me and Sam's already played through?
Yes, it will link to the one that Sam.
So are you going to have to do previously?
I will. I'll have to do like a plot synopsis of the previous campaign.
Cool.
CSRO fucked over the gods.
Where they essentially managed to defeat an avatar of the god of death.
Yeah, just saying, would Cicero actually forget everything, though? Because he's still got the god of death in his head.
Well, no, he doesn't, because you managed to push it out, remember?
No, I didn't. Still there. It was there until the end.
I shall have to think about this.
He's going to go back over the recordings.
I will go back over the recordings, you know I will.
Yeah, plus I also have a Celestial in my head too now, so...
Yeah, Sam likes to play characters with multiple voices in his head.
I'm still awful good. Somehow.
You can start the thingy by...
Alright, we shall start the thingy then. Right. You have all been travelling many, many days, further and further into the desert lands and of Ankarel. This area of the world is, if you can imagine it being a little bit like a kind of cross between Egypt, Palestine, and ruled by dragonborns. So there's lots of draconic individuals around, as well as other races. It's a very Arabian Nights kind of territory you're now in. And you specifically headed this way because there have been rumours abound about a blue dragon who has been terrorising the region for hundreds of miles. And blue dragons tend to have an awful lot of booty when you can find them. And you decided to all gather together, maybe have a go at it together yourselves. And as you get closer to the capital city of Ankarel itself, you start hearing the hustle and bustle of the various... here we are, little background music for everyone. The various hustle and bustle of the town. There are people shouting in the streets trying to sell their wares. There's carpets, there's the smell of spices in the air. There are towers rocketing into the sky. You can hear people shouting in all different kinds of languages. You can see all kinds of individuals trying to make their way through the town. Yeah, it is a very, very busy place. But, first of all, as you've all been travelling quite some ways, you probably want to think about having somewhere to eat, or at the very least find out how you're going to find this blue terror of the East, as it's known. What do you wish to do?
I think we might as well head to the markets, see if there's any scuttlebutt about some scourge of the caravans.
Was that a question to me, Sam, or to just in general to the party?
Yeah, just in general.
How much?
Like gold.
Whatever you have on you, Sam.
Okay, so I've got 25 pieces. Okay, I'm going to go try and find like a inn or something.
Oh, the party's splitting. Stormchaser wants to try and check out the markets. What do our other two adventurers wish to do?
Wouldn't mind just having a bit of a wander around the town. I think talking to people or asking what's going on, what they've heard of it, or what's going on with this dragon.
Okay. You have a character name now. Aurora Dean. What does she wish to do?
Sight from my pan. I brought Staggy.
That's true. You have brought Staggy.
Staggy, there's no trees for Staggy to hide in.
It's true.
We're in a desert.
Yes. That is
Staggy won't go for the market.
That is something I wanted to quickly... I realise I should have mentioned this. all of you, in one way or another, have horses, because frankly, otherwise you wouldn't have been able to make the journey. And your wood elf companion is riding on the back of a deer, which looks very out of place in this particular landscape.
Actually, it's quite hot, isn't it?
It is rather on the hot side. Sam?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
I'm here.
So Rillian is riding a. I'm kind of imagining the almost the ornamental drapes that used to be worn as heraldic barding, just to try and shade the horse a bit.
Yeah.
Because Cerulean's mount is almost as smart as he is.
It's true. Your horse is surprisingly intelligent. Or you're not as surprisingly intelligent. One or the other.
Hey, I'm just not a wizard. I do all right.
You do all right. It's true. Yes. So. Right. So, if I understand this correctly, you and George want to go wander around the markets, explore. Okay. So Tanya's going with them as well. And Sam wants to check out an inn.
Well, I think just to make things easier, I'll go around with Galaris Amberhorn, and we'll smooth our way around, see if we can find out what's what.
Okay. I would like you both to make perception checks. Everyone going around the market, please make a perception check.
Alrighty.
Did you say you wanted to go around the market?
Let's do some modifier to that. So, ooh, that's an 18 from me.
And a 14 from me.
I don't know what mine is because someone didn't write it down.
Yes, I did.
Where?
Under where it says perception, +5.
Look, mister.
Oh, that's passive perception, that's different.
I spoke to
Oh
something.
dear. What did you roll, George?
An 18, 1-8.
Okay. Between yourself and Rillian Stormblessed, you start wandering through the market. Aurora, whilst hearing and enjoying all the sights and sounds, is kind of lost in all the confusion of the various noises going on around, which is to be understood because there are so many people trying to shout really loudly and sell as all their wares, everything from knickknacks to carpets to spices to jewels, weapons, all sorts of things. But you and Rillian notice an odd-looking gnomish individual standing on top of a cart, yelling out, selling what look to be trinkets, and you could kind of imagine these look like tourist attractions, and if it was any more modern, it would have I went to Uncarel and all I got was this lousy t-shirt kind of knickknacks. It's really that looking kind of stall. But he's yelling out at the top of his lungs and saying, "Come one, come all, come in, come my friends, come one, come all, come and see the intricate mysteries of the desert. Come and see the valuable treasures that were stolen from the dragon horde. Come, my friends, come and see the riches that have been able to be taken from this monstrous beast. You, sir," and points to Rillian Stormblessed. "You look like a very intelligent fellow."
Why, yes, and I'm all eager to hear about this epic tale of daring do by which you recovered these valuable artifacts. Can I roll a persuasion to get him to tell more than he really would prefer?
Yes, but I would ask you to start talking a bit more to try and persuade him.
Well, that wasn't enough.
No, that was barely a conversation.
It's a start. It's a start.
The gnomish individual goes, yes, my friend, come and see the... That was a terrible Eastern accent, that's what that was. Come and see the various trinkets. Look. And he grabs an item from the top of his stall. It looks a bit like a figurine carved out of what you think might be ivory. It looks a bit like ivory. It's in the shape of a draconic-looking individual, and it's got very, very angry-looking blue eyes. It looks like something that you'd have as maybe a toy or some kind of figure of some kind. And he goes, This was taken from the dragon's hoard, one of its many, many treasures. I barely escaped with my life to achieve this. This dragon has been terrorizing the lands for weeks now.
I'm going to want to do an intuition check on that one.
Go for it.
Insight, that's the one.
Insight, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I'd be interested in doing that as well, quite frankly.
Yeah, both of you can do insight checks. Well, all of you can insight check them if you so choose.
That is a 19.
George, are you rolling on the Roll20 thing? Because it's not coming up on my end.
Oh, sorry, I was rolling on the Wizard's Dice Roller, but I can roll
if you can roll on there, please, just so I can see it.
Okie dokie.
I'll accept the last roll, but if you can roll on that in future.
Okay.
So what was it?
It was a 19.
19, okay.
Because I've got a +7 to insight.
Yeah. Okay. Were you rolling as well, Bobby? Oh, okay, sorry. Just making sure. Galaris can tell that this gnome is quite possibly... It's weird. There appears to be part of his story that he seems to be earnest about, but a big chunk of it appears to be just complete rubbish, and he's trying to, sell off a knick-knack, really. And it's at this point that you've noticed that everyone's been ignoring this gnome up until this point. People have just been walking past him and just not really paying him much attention. It's only really... He seems to have spotted you guys and just kind of called you over, but no one else seems to be taking any interest in him.
Well, he's presumably been in this market for quite a while. They all know his stuff by now.
Well, maybe, indeed. Come, my friends, what sort of things are you interested in? You seem to be an adventurous type. You there, and he points to Aurora Dean. Perhaps you would like something to take home to your friends, family, and loved ones. And you see him reach down again onto his cart, and he pulls out what looks like a silver quill. And he says, This once belonged to a prince of the desert, but it was unfortunately slain during a battle with the Blue Dragon. I was fortunate enough to be with him, but I managed to retrieve his silver quill, and I'm sure he'd rather it went to someone more deserving. All yours. For 50 gold coins. And he gives you this horrible, horrible, rotten-toothed grin.
I get it just an alert to the opening of Aladdin.
Very, very much like what I'm trying to go for, I'm not going to lie.
Conscript him. We could use cannon fodder.
I mean, not necessarily. Also, no.
He holds up...
It looks fascinating, but can you tell me a bit more about its story, about its history?
The quill?
Yes, tell me more about this battle you were talking about. Where was it? How did he die, this master? I got a 23 to try and get him to elaborate.
He licks his lips for a moment and appears to gather his thoughts, and he goes, Why, yes, his name was Hakim Mazal. He was one of the great princes of the desert, riding around in the various caravans that managed to disappear in and out and managed to remain hidden from prying eyes. He asked me to go with him because I knew of a friend who could guide him to the Blue Dragon, and I decided to go with him because, well, he had a lot of gold, and, gold talks and everything. But as soon as he got close, the Blue Dragon just flapped its wings. Sandstorms, miles high, just turned up, and he was swallowed within them. I was lucky enough to escape with my life, with one or two of his possessions in tow, which he asked to, sell on. There's no point having them being left in the desert.
Of course, because you are his trustworthy companion. He wanted to make sure that they were safe while he fought this dragon in such a valiant combat.
Indeed. Whilst he was alive, he wanted me to look after his things as much as possible, and when he was on the cusp of death, I figured it was better that I took them away from the dragon, you know? It's really, I'm actually helping, you know?
Yes. Just sort of making sure that my purse is securely inside the plate.
Fair play. But where are my manners? I must apologise. My name is Azul. I hope that you will enjoy your stay here and perhaps might be interested in buying some little relics before you go home. Although I am of course assuming that you're here to fight the dragon. Look at you all. You all look like a adventuring bunch.
It
On our
does
way back-
seem to be a scourge on the land.
On our way through, we'll be certain to pop back and visit the source, pick up something to commemorate our hopeful triumph.
Excellent. Although if I may offer a suggestion, I have a friend who actually knows the desert far more than I do myself. He is a long-standing customer, and well, he knows the desert better than, well, frankly, anyone around here. Are you?
I think that might be a good idea, but just since you've been there yourself, how far would you say it is? A couple of days?
He purses his lip for a second. Oh, I can't reveal where I managed to get my trinkets from. It's very dangerous there. I would not want any of you to come to harm.
Oh, come now, man. We're a bit of the world, you and I. I'm not asking you for the location, you understand. Just a rough distance.
A
There are
compass
many
point, perhaps.
directions man could get lost in the desert. I just want to know roughly how many days.
Oh, I can't quite. And you see him pinching the bridge of his nose, looking up into the sky, trying to think, and his palm is held out suggestively. Is everyone just staring at him in silence?
Can I try another persuasion roll? Because I can't appeal to his sense of honour or anything like that. But I
He
just
doesn't have any.
are you well, exactly? Are you sure that such an upright and honest, and I just want to put emphasis on the word honest, man such as yourself, couldn't, out of the goodness of your heart, just give us the merest glimpse of the wealth of information that you have, such a knowledgeable man as yourself, so that we can understand exactly how valuable the services of yourself and your friend that you say is a much better guide would be?
Roll a persuasion check.
Oh, it's nowhere near as good as the first one. 14.
He looks at you and notices that he realised the silence and the lack of coin being produced, and he sighs and goes, "Well, as I am a very honest man, I can only tell you that it's a few days from here, no more than a few days."
Okay.
But I don't want to tell you any more. It's very, very dangerous getting near a blue dragon.
No, of course. And obviously, this friend of yours that you were suggesting that we... I take it you're suggesting that we hire him as a guide?
I would...
And I presume that there's some kind of finder's fee?
Absolutely. I would suggest that you use him mostly because A, he grew up around the desert, and B, that desert tends to swallow everyone who goes in it who doesn't know what they're doing.
But you see, we are... Given that we are not mere soldiers of fortune, we are blessed warriors out to do justice and see right in this world. So we work on what is called commission. So if you are to be such an honoured and trustworthy guide, you would also be working on commission.
Well, yes, there is a certain degree of a finder's fee in commission, yes. I would...
Well, of course, pay would also be once we came back.
Well, of course, there's no point in asking for too much up front, you know? Like, otherwise you'd technically waste all your money for nothing, wouldn't you?
We wouldn't want that. I'm sure you're a trustworthy man, you understand. Just to keep things fair and above
You
board.
notice his eye twitch the second time you mentioned trustworthy.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely, my friends. In fact, if you so wish to take up this particular, shall we say, commission, I imagine the leaders of this land will be very grateful for. I'm assuming you're not here to talk to the dragon. You wish to slay it, yes?
I think that's the rough idea.
Assuming you can be convinced to renounce its evil ways.
The gnomish gentleman starts laughing. This particular dragon has been a bit of a thorn in our land side for quite a while now. But talking to it is always an option, of course. If you would be so kind as to bring me back some trinkets from its hoard, and just, I will pay you for them, and then sell them on. That would be most appreciated. But I get first look.
I'm sure we can work out some arrangement where we give you first look at some trinkets.
That's potentially very agreeable. Anything you can come away with would be most appreciated.
Just while we're kind of, bickering about, finder's fees and whether such a thing really exists in the market, Cerulean is just going to open up his senses, and just in case there's anything particularly interesting of, celestial or fiendish origin around.
Yeah, I'm just going to disconnect and reconnect. I'll be back in a second.
Okay, Sam.
Looking for a sense of, evil or good.
Okay. You start doing that. He kind of gives you a...
The
Sorry, George?
if he finds the tiefling.
Yeah. Congratulations, there's a tiefling standing right next to you. After about a minute, he's kind of just talking to Galaris at this point and seeing if he can push on him what looks like to be a set of some kind of dice and chess set of some kind that he also claims is from the dragon. You notice that one of the pieces of bric-a-brac on his stall appears to be emanating some kind of celestial energy.
Ah. I take a closer look.
It is a very small carved wooden idol of in fact, it's a carved idol of your god, Rillian Stormchaser. Stormblessed.
Of Herodotus.
Yeah.
Comes a sculpted little carved statue of the god of chivalry and justice. Wow.
The
Here.
Azul looks up and says, "Oh yes, another one of the many trinkets I was able to get from the dragon's hoard. This was from, let me see now. Actually, it was from the guide that I was going to suggest to you all. His name is Taruk. He managed to acquire this little item."
And you know what it is?
Oh, it is a statue of a god, I presume. I don't really know exactly what god, but of some god. There's always a god around, isn't there?
You know what? Since we are in business, I think maybe I will buy a present to take back to some of the little children that some of my nephews. They might like this as a little gift. Say 5 copper?
His jaw drops. Now come, sir. Let us be reasonable people here. This was stolen from a dragon's hoard.
You're quite right. A copper piece.
Even I'd raise an eyebrow at that.
Make a persuasion roll.
Oh. That's 10.
He takes the statue and places it out of sight. No, I could not possibly sell it for that much, especially after all the trouble that my friend went through to get it. Risked his life, you know. I couldn't at the very least part for it for at least... And he thinks, let's see, 5 gold.
5 gold?
Well, it's not one of the more unique items. But it's only made of wood after all. But 5 gold is all I could part with it, I have to pay him as well.
Sure, if I could persuade him to give it to me.
You can certainly try. You do have an absurd persuasion level.
+10.
Yes, +10.
Crumbs.
Do you wish to persuade him? What do you say to him, Aurora? You see this gnomish gentleman looking very offended at being offered 1 copper coin for this wooden statue.
That's how offended.
And,
it's only the first stage of bartering.
Yeah, the first stage he's offended. Now we get to the next stage.
Yeah.
But what do you say to him to bring him around?
Now, come. I know we all have expenses, but surely the reason it is here is for the buying and the selling. Let me have another look at it, and I will see if I can make a more accurate assessment of its value.
Do not suggest 1 copper again. I might as well cut my own throat selling it for that price.
2 silver.
He looks at Galaris and goes, that's more in the right direction, but no, 5 gold. At the very least 5 gold. You, Wood Elf, surely you have something, you have a more honest and open appreciation for money. I hear you Wood Elf types have no particular need for gold. How about 10 gold for this statue? And he smiles at you.
Did really want gold.
If I have no need for money, what makes you think I have 10 gold? Maybe if you wish me to have it, you should just give it to me.
But I can't part for it without some money. It's very important around here, you see. Whilst wood elves may be able to live in trees and off the land, the desert is a very unforgiving mistress, and, gold in the city is more valuable than, anything else.
Almost as valuable as water in the desert.
He points to Stormblast. Yes, exactly. Did you want to try and persuade him to give up the statue? He places the statue back on top of the stall and goes, well, maybe we can barter over this later in that case, when you have some money. Maybe you'll find some from the dragon's hoard, eh?
Well, you said to me 5 gold, I believe.
That is correct.
You know what? It's been a good day, and you're going to be guiding us to your friend to have a talk about this finished dragon and its hoard. Why not? Here.
And,
take it before I change my mind.
He, quick as a flash, the gold disappears from her hand, and the statue is placed on it. A very big pleasure doing business with you. So, you want to find Turok and see if you can deal with this dragon, yes?
Indeed.
Very good. Well, in that case, I suggest you head over to the Broken Camel. That is a little tavern around these parts. Very, very nice, pleasant, lovely atmosphere, good music. You will find Turok. He's not that hard to miss. He is a blue dragonborn. He will be probably in there around about this time. I tell him that Azul sent him. Azul sent you all to meet with him, and he will be more than willing to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. And then he starts completely ignoring you all and starting to shout over the crowd, trying to get people's attention again.
All right, then.
Sam. Sam, you're really, really quiet. No, you're still really quiet, Sam. We can barely hear you. Yeah.
I pay for a room for the night. I get my water skin filled up, and I ask directions to the general store.
Okay. The inn that you are currently at, the innkeeper goes, What kind of things are you wanting to barter for? There are all kinds of general stores.
Backpack, some cloth, a flensing knife.
He looks confused and goes, well, marketplace would be the best place to find these sorts of things.
I turn to her and say, yes, but you're a local here. Surely you know where the best shops are.
Make a persuasion roll.
Okay, so that's +5. Sorry, just a sec.
Uh,
17.
17. He smiles at that and goes, well, I know one store. It's not that hard to miss. It's called the Elephant's Head. It's got it'll have most of the bits and pieces you're looking for. Just walk outside, take a left, walk straight down towards the marketplace. You'll find it quite easy to notice. It's got a large statue of an elephant's head outside of it.
Okay, how much was the room?
The room came to... Let's just see what a room for the night is. You're making me get out the book already.
Yeah, I'm only buying a cheap one. So maybe you can get a cheap one for like, what, 5 silver? And I'm still angry with Tristan conned me.
Yeah, 5 silver for a room. So
I give him 1 gold and I say, can you put some beer in my room for me?
he nods and goes, well, yes, I'm sure we can make sure that there's plenty of refreshment for you when you come back. And he quickly
Thank you.
pockets it.
I go to the general store.
Okay.
So now I've got 24 gold.
Okay. As you start heading towards the general store, the rest of the party who have finished talking with Azul actually notice you start walking down the pathway towards them, as they are quite close to a store with an elephant's head out the front of it.
Go into the store.
Okay. In the store, you find it's quite cool inside. It's a wooden and stone building, and it's got all various bits of general goods around the sides, small chests, cutlery, candles, backpacks, all that kind of thing.
I go up and I say, how much for a backpack, some cloth, and a flensing knife?
The half elf with a turban on his head pops up from behind the counter and is like, hello, yes, let me see about that for you. And he starts looking to make sure he has all the equipment ready. What was that? You wanted a backpack, a flensing knife, and some...
Cloth.
Let me see. Let's see now. I would say... I could sell the whole lot to you for 5 gold pieces.
I hand him 5 gold pieces and 5 silver and say to him, thanks for the quick work.
He pockets the silver and starts bringing the items out for you across the desk and says, more than happy to oblige. And he turns back to counting some coins that were behind him.
Okay, I go back to the tavern and meet up with the others.
It is at this point that the others do see you walking out from the general store, and you notice them as well.
Hello, I got some stuff. It's like we're going to face some sandstorms, so I got some cloth. Should be enough to cover all our faces.
Has everyone gone silent?
Really, just don't want to interrupt.
And I think William's looking there from underneath, wearing his helmet with the mantle just kind of shading his face and his neck and just kind of looking.
Yeah.
That's most helpful. I'm sure we'll all be blessed by this very sensible action.
It might be helpful for Aurora. You've got your... You don't really have any head coverings to keep you safe from the sun? It may be helpful.
Wait. Do we have a head covering for the stag?
No, the stag has no head covering.
Like I said, look, probably ended up looking like a tent, wouldn't it?
It would look a bit like a
Let's
tent.
give the stag a gas mask.
Oh no, the stag has the biggest hat. It's in charge now.
Oh no.
We can't have that. Let's go to the blacksmith.
Praise the stag.
Oh dear.
I need his helmet twice as big as my horns.
Surely it would make more sense to have a something that can go around your horns.
So, what is everyone doing?
I suppose I'm going to try and... Do we have anything like mounts, like camels or anything like that?
You
Because
have
we need supplies for a trip.
you have horses that you brought with you.
How are they doing in all the weather?
They're
Are they used to
looking
the heat or not?
they're looking a little tired, but to be fair, you had been riding for most of the morning to get to this point. It's around about 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and you started riding from 8 o'clock in the morning. So
So we give the horse a rest.
So they look a little tired, but otherwise, in relatively good health.
Maybe we should try and secure things like maps, compasses, supplies. We're going to have a potentially a mini excursion, potentially a macro excursion into the desert.
Well, I've got a backpack and some cloth.
Grand, we're going to need a bit more than that.
Yep.
So what does
I've also got rope.
So what does everyone want to do together in that case?
Gonna go look for water barrels.
Okay.
We will need those to not die, and for our horses to not die.
I'm going to try and find an arena.
Okay.
So Tim just wants to die, okay.
What do you want to do, Tim?
Aren't we here for Taruk?
Fair enough. Tanya, what would you wish to do? Do you want to go find out what Taruk has to say? Okay. So Tim and Tanya are going to see Taruk. Sam is going off to find an arena. And George, you wanted to find some water barrels or someone selling water.
Yep.
Okay. In that case, I think we'll start with Taruk, and then we'll move on to Sam and George. In that case, as everyone's splitting again, twice, within 45 minutes.
Obviously, you need a
We
whip
need gold.
and a chair.
Right. So, I'll pause the music for a minute just to make life a little easier.
So I'm just going to get myself a drink. I'll be back up in a sec.
Okay. Tanya, Stormblessed. You find your way to the Broken Camel. It wasn't very hard to find. It was quite a busy-looking establishment. It's got large outdoor seating. You can see individuals in various degrees of relaxation. There are hashish pipes that they are smoking. Some of them look like they're eating dates and grapes and such. It looks like a very nice place. You step inside, and there is some fairly calm and relaxing music being played. You can see that there are individuals dancing in the corner, wearing various veils and exotic clothes. And you see, it's only at this point really that you notice that there are quite a few Dragonborn here of varying different colours. Some red, some blue, some green, some different of the metallic colours as well. And in the very centre, there is, of course, the tavern front itself, where you see a very burly-looking golden Dragonborn polishing what looks like a tankard, and he notices you starting to come towards him. Hello, my friends. What can I get for you in this rather hot and dreary place? He says, slamming the tankard onto the bar.
Well, as much as I'm looking forward to the drink, I'm looking for a chap named Taruk.
He blinks for a minute and he goes, he's over in the corner there, and he sort of points to a shady alcove where a blue-skinned dragonborn appears to be drinking some kind of metallic flagon of some kind of golden liquid.
Ah, thank you. Now, what would you recommend?
He thinks about it for a moment and says, "You're new, aren't you?"
Yes, I know, but from one of shimmery heritage to another, what would you recommend?
He thinks about it and goes, "I'll tell you what." And he reaches up to the top shelf and he brings down a bottle, uncorks it, and a very, very dark golden liquid comes out. And he only gives a small measure and he slides it over to you. A nice little glass of firewater.
I'll take a sniff.
It smells really strong. But
Down it, down it, down it.
It's like the good stuff.
it's the good stuff.
Cicero down it was arguing with a god.
Unfortunately, that was a thing.
I look at him. How much?
And he says, 2 silver pieces?
Done.
This is the good
All
stuff, after all. And for you, lady.
Yeah.
He looks at you. You don't strike me as a wine drinker. No? Let me see. And he reaches up to...
He's a wood elf. She drinks fruity stuff.
He reaches up to another...
Doesn't wine count as fruity stuff?
Yeah, about to say, wine is literally made from grapes. He reaches up to...
Yeah, I meant like cider.
He reaches up to his shelf and pulls a different coloured bottle down, and a pinkish, almost sparkly liquid comes out. Again, a small measure, and then he adds another bottle to it, and it starts to fizz. And he slides it across the table to you. This is pink pixie water. I'm sure you will find it quite agreeable. It's got a fruity taste, but it's got that kick which you wood elves seem to be quite fond of. That'll be 2 silver pieces if you're interested.
Not for me.
He takes the gold piece. Big smile comes across his face and says, "It's very, very generous of you. I'll keep the drinks coming." And he
Okay, I'll do the next one then.
you notice at this point you notice the blue scale dragonborn is now staring at you from his alcove.
Might as well wander over then, shall we?
Do you wander over as well? Okay. As you get closer, you notice that this dragonborn looks like he may have had the rough end of life. He wears some hard-wearing leathers. There is a bow that's unstrung, that's just leaning up against the wall. He has some golden bracelets on him that have got various strange markings and pictograms, and he's got scars across his face and across his shoulders that look like some kind of large clawed beast. He looks like he may have been in a fight or two, and he might be a little wizened by the sun, but his scales still look quite lovely. He looks at you and says, "The seat's taken, friend. I was looking for some peace and quiet."
No, there's no need to be like that. You're among friends here. Why, one of your esteemed friends from the market even gave us your name. It's Taruk, isn't it?
He looks at you. "Which friend is that? I have many friends. Believe it or not. I just like some solitude every now and again."
Oh, Oh, what was his name? He was selling trinkets in the market. I look around frantically at Aurora here.
Do you remember his name? Oh, you're both terrible. Azul. His name was Azul.
Michael, did you not learn from the last D&D campaign? I don't remember names of characters. I told you, make me character sheets.
Yeah.
Give me little name cards. I just don't remember names.
That's fine. Or I need to give you a big pen and paper and say, write. Start writing. You doodle, yes. Start doodling in any case. He looks to Aurora and says, Azul, that tricky little bastard. Okay. So you're wanting to go into the desert as well, then, I take it?
Oh, I fear so.
Is it just the two of you? He says, looking from either of you.
No, we have some other friends.
Oh, good. You might actually be slightly more prepared than the last lot, then. Well, go on, then. And he point gestures. You notice the alcove's got... it's a semicircular alcove with a very long bench with cushions and such on it. It's large enough that anyone and everyone could sit cross-legged if they so chose. In the centre of the table is what appears to be a hashish pipe, but he doesn't appear to be partaking himself. He gestures to the cushions and says, sit down. Will your friends be joining us?
I think they're wandering around the market somewhere.
Well, they had best be careful. It's very easy to get pickpocketed in that market. So, you want to go kill a dragon, then?
If it cannot be convinced to mend its ways convincingly, then yes.
Well, the last 3 parties didn't manage to do much better, so who knows, you might be the lucky ones. He smiles. I apologise. It's just that this dragon's been a bit of a thorn in the city side for 3 weeks, and it has been flying over any and all valuable caravans that come out of the city, and it's made it very difficult to actually, well, move anything of value in and out of the city with it around.
Ah, so the difficulty isn't so much finding it as it is sneaking caravans past it.
Indeed. It's quite a big one as well. Fully grown blue dragon.
Ooh.
But you all look, well, he looks to the wood elf he looks to Aurora to Stormblessed, and he goes, you look like you might be better off than the last lot, so who knows? He puts his drink down and puts his hands open in a welcoming gesture and says, I am Taruk, local guide and general, well, observer of things that happen in the desert. If you want to come with me, I have 3 rules, which I will tell your friends when they come here as well. The first one is very simple. If I tell you to stop, you stop. If I tell you to run, you run. This is rule 2, by the way. And rule 3 is, I will only take you to the entrance. I'm not going in with you.
Will he wait for us?
You're not there.
I know, but I feel like that's a question the guys should maybe ask. Because if we come outside and find he's nicked our horses and shit.
That is a question you may have to insight him with if you were there.
Could you tell us a little bit about how you found the route to this lair?
He kind of shrugs his shoulders. It's not very difficult to find him. Blue dragons have this strange effect on the land. They make... And he looks at Aurora. Yes, we call them dust devils, but sandstorms, yes. They blow them up, and then these... it's very hard to get around them, past them, and yes, it tends to make it a bit stormy around where it lives as well. So really, look for the place in the desert where all the sand is being thrown up in the air, and you have a chance of finding your blue dragon. The tricky bit, he says, waving his finger, isn't actually finding the blue dragon. It's trying to sneak up on it whilst it's still in its lair. Because when that blue dragon takes to the skies... Have you ever seen what happens to someone struck by lightning?
Yes.
He looks mildly impressed. And you managed to get away. Well done.
It wasn't me. Luckily, Plate tends to conduct the charge to the ground, but the foot soldiers, they fare much worse.
They would indeed. But yes, a blue dragon in the air, breathing lightning down on you is, well, let's just say I ran. And I'm not ashamed of that. There's no point staying once the blue dragon knows you're there.
There's no shame or dishonour in fleeing from a fight that is far beyond you.
He said, and, you know, at the end of the day, I managed to get 1 or 2 things from it. There's no point leaving it all in the desert for the dragon, after all.
No.
Whilst the two of you are chatting and just generally having drinks, George, you were looking for some water. It's not particularly hard to find. There are various merchants who are in the marketplace who are selling barrels of various liquids, water being one of them. After speaking to one, a red-skinned, scaled, dragonborn individual, she looks across to you and says, "A barrel of water? You're not planning to carry that all by yourself, are you?"
No, thankfully we have some mounts that can carry them for us and possibly partake of the contents themselves.
You're going into the desert then?
That's the plan.
Well, good luck to you, that's all I have to say. The blue dragon is making it very hard for anything to get out of the city right now.
So we're here.
So,
how long has
yes?
it been causing problems?
Weeks. It's been here... She thinks about it and goes, at least 3 or 4 weeks, I think.
Oh, they certainly make themselves known, don't they?
Well, it just moved in and decided it didn't want anyone leaving. So it's only a matter of time, I'm sure, until it starts, starts taking stuff from the city itself. I'm not looking forward to that. But, and she taps a wooden barrel, looks quite sturdy. She goes, "If you're wanting a barrel, that's going to be 2 gold coins."
Sounds perfectly reasonable. Can you set me up with 4 barrels?
She looks behind her stall and goes, "I could set you up with 4 barrels, yay. I can."
Fantastic.
So that will be 2, 4, 6.
8.
That'll be
8
8.
gold.
Indeed, thank you. 8 gold coins.
Would I need to transport it to the stables myself, or do you have anyone that can help me here do it?
Where are you staying?
Where am I staying, Mike?
The camel place, ain't it?
Well, if you're choosing to stay at the same inn as Taruk, then that was called the Broken Camel.
Wait, what inn am I staying at?
You're staying at a different inn. This inn is called the Nag's End.
They gave me water. They are friends.
They gave you enough to fill a water skin, yes.
I'll say take it to the what camel?
The Broken Camel.
Broken Camel, right. I will take it to the I'll ask for it to be transported to the Broken Camel, please.
She nods her head and says, "Will it be fine if I have it taken later today?"
Of course.
Very good. What was your name, sir?
The name is Galaris Apborn. Pleasure to meet you. Just reach out to shake a hand.
She takes it with her clawed hand and says that I'm Elfriti. I'll make sure that we ask for you and bring the barrels later this evening when the sun is lower.
Nice name. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. And she starts stacking the barrels out of the way for later.
I bid a farewell and head off to sort of see the sights of the town.
Okay. Sam, you were looking for an arena. Make an investigation check for me.
Okay.
After about 2 hours of wandering round the city, you can fairly safely conclude that there doesn't appear to be an arena, at least not one that you would be used to.
Oh, wanted to make some money. Oh. Well, I'll go back to the inn. Actually, no, I'll go to meet up with the Dragonborn.
Okay, so Galaris manages to make it to the Broken Camel well before Tullius, and eventually, when you all do turn up, Turok says, "At last, you're all finally here." So then he clicks his fingers. The Golden Dragonborn comes out from behind the bar, and Turok whispers into his ear. The Golden Dragonborn nods. Some coins are passed across, and he turns back to you. We can
Can
eat.
I attempt to hear what he was saying?
You can. Do you have what's it called?
Perception?
Make a perception. Yeah, make a perception roll if you want to.
Okay, this is +3.
You are not able to make out what he whispered to the
Can I
barman.
make out the tone?
Just quietly hushed words in Draconic.
I mean, is it like a deal?
You don't know, you don't speak the language.
Do you speak Draconic?
Go, but when someone's speaking, you can tell what they're on about. You know,
Not
they're-
necessarily, it depends on the speech pattern.
The most you can hear are slightly growly, gravelly, hissy undertones. Like it's Draconic. It sounds like a lizard speaking, you know? But he turns back to you all and says, "Now we can eat. We can break bread as friends. Well, at least for as long as we work together. Just so you're all aware, I assume you've all spoken to the gnomish friend, and he notices Aurora playing the guitar. I assume you've spoken to my gnomish friend who is interested in trinkets and such from the Dragon's Cave. I myself would personally be just quite happy if the Blue Dragon was just, well, removed, because frankly it's making life really unbearable in these parts, and, well, I don't have the strength to kill it myself, so I'm hoping that all of you might make it more possible. So, but, you know, I've got to eat, so any gold I expect to be split fairly between everyone. And if you don't make it out, then I will take whatever you have of value and leg it. Is that entirely understood?
Yeah.
Is that okay with everyone?
Yep.
I can see that you are a practical man.
He smiles. A very white, pointy-toothed smile. I feel it is very important to be practical, especially in the desert. Now, and he points over his shoulder, turning one eye to look, and you notice that there are various individuals bringing dates, bananas, some a meal fit for the evening. Not just dates and bananas, I want to make that stressed. There are other bits of food there as well. There's what appears to be some kind of chicken or duck. There is rice, there is some water, there is some sweet meats, some lettuce and salad and such, and it's enough to feed everybody. And he says, "Eat, drink, for tomorrow I will lead you towards the Blue Dragon, and hopefully we can rid this place of a rather unpleasant scourge. Do I have any questions?"
Are you going to check with Dead first, or are you just going to leave as soon as we go in?
I will give you to the count of I hear you screaming, and then I will leave.
So, if Aurora gets set on fire and starts screaming.
Oh, no.
You're gonna run off.
And he points to Aurora. Do not worry, Aurora. You will not be set on fire by this dragon. It breathes lightning. You will be
Who said anything about the dragon?
Excuse me, Tiefling. Why would I be the one shouting?
Well, I mean, I've got to get use out of the tinderbox somehow.
Why is he with us again?
I'm trying to reform him. It's a long process.
It is I'm a lord and very good with a stave, glaive even. And I'm joking. I'm trying to throw the Dragonborn off edge.
The Turok looks at you and says, "It is not really very wise to say you're trying to throw me off edge right in front of me."
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said
okay. Very well. Okay. Turok then looks to all of you again and says, "So, any questions?"
When's the best time to leave?
Do we know the sex of the dragon?
He gives you a curious look.
I'm going to cast him a filthy look.
Yeah. I think civilians also like, at what point does that matter?
The dragon could have young.
So surely the question would be, does the dragon have young?
Turok looks to both tieflings and says, "I have not gotten close enough to the dragon to actually ascertain those particular details. But I can
tell from the behaviour.
But he says, I can tell you from the very brief peeks I've had in the cave, I could not see any eggs from the entrance, at least."
Okay.
Because if you're a dragon, you'd leave your eggs by the entrance?
I can only tell you what I've seen.
Well, it depends on the breed of dragon. I mean, black dragons leave their eggs in the middle of a swamp, so...
Okay, while Tullius is thoroughly confusing him, can I do an insight check on Turok's motivations for... Partly because he's a blue dragonborn, so there's obviously blue dragon in his heritage.
Yeah.
I just want to, is this a family feud thing? Is it completely unrelated and he just, is entirely above board with us and wants to steal our stuff? That sort of thing.
In that case, make a insight check.
I got a 14.
This is where I would ask for, how Dragonborn heritage works in your setting, but we might be here a while.
I think we had a discussion like this before.
We did, but what I'm gonna make this relatively simple. So, with your roll, Tim, he's kind of hard to read. He seems openly friendly. He looks like he's just trying to make an effort to put you all at your ease. Beyond that, you can't really tell at this moment.
Fair enough.
And just for simplistics, for this one shot, just because you have chromatic dragons are naturally evil, and the metallic ones are naturally good, but dragonborn colours don't necessarily mean a thing. You can have just as many evil metallic dragonborn as you have good chromatic. So you'd have to get to know him a little longer to try and work out what his direction is.
No, it was only specifically because we're looking for a blue dragon, and he's a blue dragon born.
Yep.
So there was a possibility of some kind of connection there, aside from there's this big beast that sets fire to all the caravans coming into my city. We're going to starve. Can you please get rid of it?
Yep. No.
Which is an utterly sensible reason to want it gone.
It is an utterly sensible reason.
If the dragon's causing this much trouble, why are the politicians not trying to find people to get rid of that dragon?
They might have. That might be why we're here.
Turok looks to you and says...
Costs too much.
Turok kind of opens his hands and shrugs and says, Uncarel does not really have much of a, shall we say, army. we rely pretty much on being able to sell things to convince people to not attack us. And anyone who even thinks of attacking us, we tend to have enough allies that we can say, attack us, and everyone jumps on you at once. The politicians have money, but they don't really have... He waves his finger and says, I like this one. She's intelligent. Yes, they just figured if they put out a big enough reward... In fact, he points over the other side of the tavern, and you notice a bulletin board with various images on, one of which is the Blue Dragon itself. And you can just make out at the very bottom, there are lots of question marks, like location unknown, size unknown. They don't.
Do we have to take a trophy?
It does request specifically a trophy.
We're going to need a hook.
But it also says that the reward will be 50,000 gold pieces.
What, each or total?
Divided amongst the individuals.
Right, just out of curiosity, would my glaives, end of my glaives blade, be big enough to decapitate a dragon?
An
After
adult
we've killed
dragon? No.
Right?
You could decapitate it, but you would need a lot of good swings.
No, because I'm
It would
thinking
have-
after we kill it, we're going to take the head back as a trophy. So
Yeah. Bearing in
we're going to
mind
think of a way to get that off.
Bearing in mind that an adult dragon's head is probably bigger than the horse that you rode in on.
I got rope.
I like your optimism.
I've got rope, some cloth. I think we can drag it.
Yes, because a wood elf is that strong, she can help you drag a...
I meant the horses, but
Yes, we have many fine horses that are probably quite willing to run fast away from a dragon's head.
I mean, it could also be a thing of, like, if we beat it, we then keep some of the group behind, send one or two people back to town to get more like, mounts and stuff, and then, you know...
actually, that's not a bad idea. If we take a chest of gold with us, we can easily buy a few more horses and just come back.
Torok looks at you all and says, "So,
Does he like the optimism?
he is enjoying watching you discuss this amongst yourselves, and he's
It's
saying
like, they're gonna die.
he does have a slightly crooked smile on his face. It's mildly humorous and ever so slightly disturbing. No, he says, I like you lot. You seem quite optimistic at your chances. I would suggest if we are going to take on this particular beast, maybe we leave at nightfall and, well, we will want to arrive at the cave at night. That would be the best circumstances, I think. The Blue Dragon doesn't
How
tend
far
to
away?
like coming in out during the day. How far?
Yeah.
3 days. If we keep a sensible pace and the horses don't give up on us, and we're not attacked by anything, then 3 days. 3 days should be more than enough. There are other dangers in the desert, of course, besides heat stroke. I'm assuming you all have provisions and water that you'll bring with you. I can,
Yeah.
as I know the desert very well, I can find sources of water and food if need be. I know where most of the oases are, but I would strongly recommend that you always if you go to sleep, you place your shoes in your tent. The number of times I've had people not do that and then wake up in the morning and tread on scorpions is frankly hilarious. So don't do that. Keep your equipment inside your tent, as well as your shoes.
Okay.
Thanks for the warning.
So that was that crunchy thing I stepped on the other day.
He looks at you. Well, if it didn't sting you, you must have stood on it in exactly the right way. So good for you.
Well, my skin's a bit tougher than normal, so...
He smiles. Indeed, indeed. I suggest then we enjoy our food, we have a little drink, and then we get a good night's sleep. Unless
Okay,
you
I'll go
have
back
any
to
other
my
business you wish to do.
Well, I'll go back to the other inn.
Okay.
which I've paid for already.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So, Tanya, what do you wish to do? You want to go to bed? Okay. Your wood elf bard companion has made her way up to one of the rooms. The gold dragonborn from behind the bar kind of looks at you lot and then looks up at the wood elf. Excuse me, sorry, but you haven't paid for your room.
How much?
That'll be 10 silver. He takes it, bites it, and smiles and says, Can I take you anything else up?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
He smiles and says, Well, thank you very much for your patronage. And then he points to Glarus and Cerillion. Your rooms have been paid for, and points to the wood elf.
Ah, thanks,
Thank you
Roar.
very much.
I will put them all next to each other. Turuk has his own establishment, so I'm sure he won't need to spend the night here. And he says, No, I will go back to my own place in time. Right, so, Galaris, do you anything else before your characters turns in for the night?
I know, just enjoy a bit of drinking food and maybe discuss plans and approaches for the expedition.
Yep.
Yeah.
We need a
Most
solid
amount, any
plan for
thoughts?
engaging that thing.
Say again, sorry.
We need a solid plan for engaging that thing.
We know that they deal primarily in light damage, and obviously they have the claws and the tails. We have to catch it in its lair so it can't use its wings, and possibly that it can't use its full size against us.
Turok,
I can try and keep it focused on me, but then
It might be, unfortunately, that you, me, and our other typing friend have to
Yes.
stand between it and the exit.
yes. Well,
To be fair, I can stop it moving.
and I can draw on Hieronymus's power to get it focused on me, so you can attack it freely.
Yeah, and if it attacks you, I can attack it again.
But we want to make sure we get capping our,
Yeah.
because we may have to scarp that.
Turok kind of
Yeah,
smiles
that's
at
good.
this and says, You won't be the first. I have to say this. They were all brave, very brave people. But yes,
Well, hopefully we'll be the last.
indeed.
As I leave, I whisper into Aberhorn's ear in Infernal. He sounds like a conman.
Aberhorn, do you speak Infernal?
I
He's
do.
a
I'm
cheap
typing. Get
Okay.
it by default.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just sort of lead a whisper back. Or one has seen too many people go off to their deaths. I mean, I can try and do an inside check on the guy. Yeah, just for get kind of a feel for him.
Okay.
That's all right.
Yeah, do an insight check.
Modified for that is 7. Lovely.
Okay, very
That
nice.
was it.
18.
Oh.
You've now spent a bit more time with the guy. He's not quite what you'd imagine. He talks about how he's led many people to kill this blue dragon to their deaths, and he seems strangely relaxed about it all. And he's talking about it as though it's going to be just a little trip into the desert, just a little trip. It'll be fine. But something's bothering you in the back of your mind, and you can't really put your finger on it. He seems nice, but something's bothering you. You can't quite put your finger on what it is.
If I just, while we're listening to him, just gently open up my senses again, see if I. It's not exactly a sense good or evil. Well, it is sense good or evil, but I know that most people are going to, have a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
So just on a magical level, is he noticeably one way or the other?
So, are you trying to do this in a way that he doesn't notice, or are you just taking it in general?
There's nothing to notice.
Oh no, plot twist, he's the dragon.
He's a platinum dragon. Kill him.
No, platinum dragons are good. Leave platinum dragons alone.
No. It's a dragon. Kill it. We can sell the scales.
Dude, platinum dragon is literally God.
Yeah. No, paladin class ability divine sense. It's like a smell or hearing or seeing.
You kind of concentrate for about a minute and
yeah.
Okay. You concentrate for. Are you? But you are trying to do this without him noticing per se.
Well, yeah, but there's not really anything for him to notice. It's like I'm listening to him.
Mm.
Well, what's he going to notice? That I'm listening to him? I'm kind of supposed to be doing that while we're talking.
Stares intently at the dragon ball.
Yeah, it's more. I guess it's more the intent of your But what I will say,
if he critically fails, can we have the Dragonmon think he's hitting on him?
No. Anyway,
He's
so
staring at the Dragonmon.
with the conversation, especially with Galaris there as well, and Turok's kind of talking to all of you, so he's not necessarily paying much attention. The sense you're getting is he appears to be, at this point in time, he appears to be more on the neutral spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
He strikes you from the most you can sense. He strikes you as someone who may have done bad deeds, but at the same time has also done things for good. It's a little tricky to try and get a solid read on his motivations.
Oh no, he's neutral.
Well, honestly, that was about as much as I expected out of that.
The most unpredictable alignment.
Once we start to turn in,
Mm-hmm.
I try to draw Amber Horn to one side.
Alrighty.
So, I know we don't follow the same god, but would you be prepared to do me a favour?
Depends on the favour.
Well, while we were talking to that merchant in the market, I noticed that this seemed to have some kind of, and this is once we've sort of started to go off to our rooms, so it's a bit more private.
Yeah.
This seems to have the mark of some actual power to it, but I don't have the right skills to actually tell what it does. But it looks to be a carved statue of Hieronymus. Could you possibly work out what it does?
What check would that be, Michael? Arcana or?
That would be an Arcana
spell ritual, I would think, if you could do it.
An Arcana check would help you, but Identify would tell you everything.
I don't know if I can identify a spell. I don't actually. I don't have that one prepared.
Okay, well, it's a cleric spell, so it's, if you can prepare it.
I would, but then if I do that, I mean, okay, I could use one of my spell slots for it tomorrow, maybe.
What I will say is,
Cast as a ritual, it doesn't take a slot.
Both Stormblessed and Amberhorn make an intelligence check for me.
Oh no! I don't know. I'm 18. I don't know what I'm worried about.
You both got 18.
Oh no, 18 was my last roll. I need to do a new one.
Okay, sorry. Okay, do a new one.
This is probably not going to go nearly as well.
Big money, no whammies.
Oh, well, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. Right.
All right then.
You continue having this conversation, trying to work out what it does, and then suddenly, wait. If it is magical, if you spend enough time with it, you will understand its functions.
No random little statue tell your secrets.
It kind of. If you keep it in your presence for over an hour, and you sort of attune yourself to it, you will understand what it does.
I have one thing to say.
Yeah.
You told me stories on how badly George rolls.
Yeah, I know. He's rolling really well.
If this changes,
I
and
know
when we
what
get
it
to
is.
the dragon, he
I
starts
know.
rolling
I know.
well, I'm going to be furious.
I'm really nervous at the moment.
Don't understand.
Yes.
That's a fair thought.
So
well, I might as well just keep an eye on it then.
So you realise that if you hold on to it for an hour and just kind of mull it over, look it over, maybe, I don't know, pray to it, per se, you will figure out what it actually does.
Worship it. it is your precious.
Well, it is a statue of Hieronymus, which is the god that Sir William follows, so, close enough.
My character worships Solar, Lunar, and another god. I can't think of a name yet.
So the sun, the moon, presumably the stars, and the Earth will be the third one.
Yes, yeah. The moon is the watchman who guards us in our sleep. The sun is the giver of life. The earth, the annoying bitch who keeps killing us.
Yes, all very well and good, but have you considered the benefits of honour, chivalry, and justice for all?
Yeah.
Hey man, without life, none of that would matter.
Have you ever considered?
The god measuring contest begins.
Oh God!
Have you ever considered that sometimes the sun is really, really useful?
Just telling us that while we're in the desert.
Once, I managed to have a whole army blinded by just getting my men to reflect the light of the sun into their faces.
I'm pretty sure that was a Lord of the Rings plot point.
No, I was thinking of the ancient mythical laser.
I don't want to hear war stories about your men mooning the other army again.
No, I'm thinking of trying to think what Greek made it, but there was a mythical laser they did on Mythbusters where they used mirrors to reflect the sun.
What, to burn down
to
the
set
ship?
fire to... Yes, that.
That was fun. Anyway, in that case, you all retire to bed. Are you spending time with this relic of your god, Stormblessed?
Yeah, I certainly will pray to Hieronymus while considering it.
Okay. You spend about an hour and a half in your room in private, praying and considering this particular item, and insight dawns upon you. This is an enchanted statue of some kind, blessed by Hieronymus. It has the power once a day. Once a day, you place it in the hands of a creature or individual of your choice, and it can heal them. 1d4 plus 5.
Ooh. Now that is a very useful trinket. I give thanks to Hieronymus for this life-giving statue.
Right, so you all go to sleep, and as soon as dawn breaks, you hear the various market noises start to pick up again. Animals making all kinds of either objectionable, grumbling, or various other noises and smells that you don't even want to imagine. But you wake up, and thanks mostly to Aurora's very, 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 very generous tip giving, you find all of you have breakfast served in your rooms at no additional charge. Aurora has a particularly large bunch of bananas added to her breakfast as well. And the golden dragonborn winks and walks away.
To be fair, I overtipped my inn too, so do I get free breakfast?
You do get a breakfast, but it isn't quite as fancy as the others. The Broken Camel is a bit more of an upmarket establishment. You're in sort of the equivalent of
You've gone to Spoons.
You've kind of gone to Spoons. It's true. You're in...
Yeah, but they gave me water and beer.
Yeah, they gave you water and beer. You have beer for breakfast.
The liquid diet. All I need is whiskey.
Yeah.
Wait, I need firewater. Firewater makes you perform better.
You can hear my mum shouting, Michael.
I know.
I thought it was you. I thought someone was shouting.
No. Yes, 1d4 plus 5, Tim.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so...
I get my horse and meet up with them lot.
Okay.
The other lot.
So you all meet up outside the Broken Camel, and you see Taruk, in fact, waiting outside with a camel that doesn't have a broken back. Which appears to have various...
Spine attack camel would be good.
Sorry?
A camel with spine intact would be good.
Indeed. It appears to be loaded with various provisions. No saddle. It looks like it's purely for baggage purposes. And he says, I hope you're not all expecting to ride the horses in the desert. They're going to be hard-pressed enough. And then he suddenly notices the stag. What the hell is that?
Yes, stag.
Emergency rations.
Do not go near.
We had very different ideas of going reactions there.
Just for the benefit of people who can't see Tanya, the wood elf is glaring at Tullius with a look that could melt steel.
Rillian just smiles and nods encouragingly.
I have my hand on my
Not
crossbow.
at Tullius, that's to be sure.
I have my hand on my crossbow.
Turok looks
And
at
with that merry thought in mind, let's get on with it.
Turok smiles and says, "Well, if you think it can keep up, then bring it along."
Well, I mean, if it's worth grabbing some camels, like,
He
Well,
laughs.
do we have enough gold to get camels?
I don't know. Like, I mean, we're all 8th level, so maybe. I want to assume so.
Well, I only tied off you with 25 gold, so... And I
Yeah,
spent
we would
most
need
of it.
the equivalent of 8th level gold, so we should presumably have enough to get something like that. I mean, getting a couple of extra camels, if nothing else, just to carry the water, so the horses don't have to carry the water and us.
Turok kind of strokes his face with his claw and says, "Let me put it this way. Either take the horses or trade in the horses for camels. Because taking both is going to get really noisy and it's going to be hard enough sneaking on the Blue Dragon as it is."
I go back to the inn, I trade in for a camel.
I ain't trading my horse, but I'm going to be like, I'm going to pay the inn to look after the horse for about a week or so.
Actually, I'm going to do that too.
So the inn that you go to, Sam, goes, "Yeah, sure. That'll be... Well, how long are you going to be gone for?"
A few days.
Say a week, because it's going to take us 3 days to get
Yeah,
there.
a week.
He looks through his ledger and then goes,
I remember, I would be a nobleman in your debt.
"Make a persuasion roll."
Do I get a bonus because I've got a scroll of pedigree?
Are you showing it to him?
Yeah.
I will
People
say
think the best of me.
I will say it.
Plus 5.
That's not +5. He
Yeah, I get plus 5.
yeah, no, that's fine.
2 charisma, 3.
That's still only 9. He looks at you
So I
and
don't get a
goes,
bonus.
"Yeah, that's including your bonus."
Aw.
I lowered the DC because of you mentioning your noble status, but that's not even a 10. He looks at you and goes, "That'll be 5 copper a day to look after your horse."
I chuck my gold and says, "Okay, go back in about a week. Can you reserve a bottle? Can you reserve a keg of beer for me?"
He nods and says, if you're back in a week, I'm sure that'll be possible. In the meantime,
Good. And
in the
I
meantime,
might have a rug if you're interested.
he looks at you quizzically and maybe. And
Okay.
he starts looking after your horse. Galaris, you speak to the gold scale dragonborn, and he goes, "Yeah, we got room. How long do you want your horse to stay here?"
At least a week. I shouldn't be a lot gone longer than that.
Well, he thinks
You
about
can
this.
keep if I'm back before, then you can keep the excess.
He thinks about it. "I'll tell you what. Since your wood elven friend has tipped me way more than I'm comfortable with, if you make it back, you can have your horse for free, okay?" And he slaps you on
Yeah,
the
how much did-
he slaps you on the
How
shoulder.
much did Tanya pay?
She paid
1 gold for a drink.
1 gold for a drink that was 5 silver, and then she paid 5. I think you paid 5 gold for the room.
We should only paid 1.
I think she's just like, here, just take the money and give me a room. I don't care.
Pretty
Tired,
much.
must sleep.
Yeah. But no, he says, "Pay me when you get back, okay?"
I'll say that won't do. Just have a gold for the trouble and put a gold coin in the hand.
He smiles and pockets it and says, "Just and then he leans down at you and says, just be careful out there, all right? You're not the first people who've gone out with him and haven't come back. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so we've heard. So thank you for the heads up.
He nods and continues cleaning glasses and such. Right, so did you say you wanted to try and get a camel, George?
Yes.
Right, so camels.
But does anyone else want to come camel shopping?
Yeah, I'll go camel shopping.
Come on, guys, road
Sharon
trip.
will be just fine.
Right, so
Is there a deal where you can get buy one get one free on camels?
if there was, you'd need to persuade them.
Only for
You're,
humps.
you're the best person who'd be able to persuade.
I'm not very good at persuading.
Plus 10.
But I'm a noble.
Yeah, but then you go to me, Tanya, say something persuasive.
Okay.
And I want to go, just give me all your camels.
I'm not bad at that, actually. I'm trading.
What I'm gonna
like,
say is, Tanya, roll a persuasion check. This is just to there are loads of people selling camels, so I'm not going to ask you to go looking for a camel salesman.
What you actually want me to roll.
I just want you to roll a dice.
Roll it.
Ready?
Yeah. Flipping hell. So.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Charisma, holy shit.
So, you find
Fucking bards, man.
you find an elven camel salesman, and he's like white turban, purple clothes, quite well dressed, pedigree camels all around him, and he says to you after you go up to him and you say, "Give me 2 camels." He's so taken aback by the force of the request that he goes, sure. He looks startled for a minute, and he points to 2 fine-looking, spitting individuals.
Stolen camels.
And he goes, and you walk off with 2 camels.
They weren't
Just
stolen,
turns
they
up.
were given.
There's just a stag that
But-
knocks through the front door, and then this elf follows in, and it's like, I want 2 of your finest camels.
Yeah. But
Oh,
the only thing you think to yourself is you probably need to walk away relatively quickly before he realizes what happened.
do we have the paperwork?
No, she walked in, went, "Give me 2 camels," and walked out
We
with
need
2
the
camels.
paperwork, Tanya. We need the paperwork. How are we going to resell them?
I mean, it's a camel.
Torok takes the other camel that was walking along with Aurora and says, "Go, go, 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 go! Just go!"
It worked, didn't it? You had to pay no
Well,
gold
that's
for your
2
camels.
We still need 2 more. So,
I'm
Tanya,
going
do you
on
want to do that
Staggy.
again?
I don't know if we need 2 more. We've got 2, and
So Torok has a camel that has lots of baggage on it. There's
Yeah, that's a
Staggy,
baggage camel.
and then 2 more camels.
Cerulean didn't want what he said.
Yeah, Rillian's got a horse.
So we've got 2. We just need an extra camel, or
Yeah.
possibly a riding lizard.
Yeah, let's get a riding lizard.
Sorry for suggesting that, Mike.
No, it's fine. Torok kind of looks over at you guys and goes, "Look, don't mean to be funny, but I think we need to kind of leave sooner than later because we've just
Fine,
stolen
let's
2
go."
camels."
I didn't steal them. I asked
You
them,
stole
he
them.
gave them.
You can't. He gave them.
It was a gift.
Stormblast. Is it
Yep.
stealing if you just run up to someone and shout at them, "Give me stuff," then walk away before they realise what you've done?
Well, if they gave it to you of their own free will, then it's a gift. This is just a
Okay.
hypothetical, you understand.
So, in other words, the god of honor, is okay if stealing. Got you.
It's not stealing.
It's not.
No.
It wasn't given through coercion. It was given through like. It might have been an accidental giving, but it isn't anything like. that or
It
whatever.
was kind of
I'm sorry.
the sheer force of the personality demanding 2 camels.
We can also return them when we get back. If we get back,
Oh, we'll get back.
will we?
Yes.
Torok kind of thinks for a minute and says, "Look, I want you all to head out with these 2 camels," and he points to the city gates and says, "Just get a little distance. I will find another camel. I just don't want you guys getting me or anyone else into trouble before we actually even get going. So get outside
Okay.
the city with the camels. I will join you in a minute.
Okay. So how much provisions do we have?
You have the provisions that are on your character sheets.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 10 days. I want to know what the others have.
What do you have? Do you have a explorer's pack, Bobby? Entertainer's pack.
Wait, how much rope do we have?
I have a pretty pack.
Sam, what is your thing about rope?
What is it with you and rope?
Well, you can do a lot of useful things with rope.
You
For
have
instance,
5 days rations.
I could tie the knife to the rope and try to ride the dragon.
That's not going to happen, is it?
I mean, I wish you luck.
So, are you all heading out of the city?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you head out of the city. Nothing.
I meant Dragon Ball.
Nothing untoward happens. You make your way through the market with the camels in tow. You get outside the city. The guards don't even really pay you any attention, and you walk away for about 20 minutes before you notice a blue-skinned dragonborn wandering out with an additional camel.
Okay, we've got camels.
Let's
go kill the dragon.
He walks up to you guys. Right, so, and he points to the camel that's with all the baggage on. Tents, provisions for 2 weeks, because frankly, I've seen people get lost in the desert, and it's mildly hilarious. And kindling for the fire, all the basic things we need to set up a camp, because it's going to take us 3 days to get there, and quite frankly, I hate being uncomfortable. But if you allow me to take the lead, I will do my best to make sure we don't bump into anything particularly unpleasant. All good?
Okay.
Right then.
Sounds excellent.
So, you begin your trek. What is the marching order? Torok's taking the lead with his camel behind him. Who wishes to be behind?
Me.
Okay, so Tullius is just behind.
Cerulean, do you want to bring up the rear, since without we need to have the two main melee characters at the front and the back?
Fine by me.
Okay. Where do you want to be?
Where would you prefer to go? Third or fourth? Possibly third, because that way you're the closest and you're in the middle.
Okay, so the bard is in the middle. Okay, right. You've travelled for. It takes you. Nothing much happens actually for the next 6 hours. You left Uncorel at about 10 o'clock in the morning, and for the next 6 hours things are actually really dull. There's no particular sandstorms. The dunes stretch out for miles upon miles upon miles. There's no real road anymore. You're well off the beaten track at this point. The most interesting thing that you notice during those 6 hours is you notice a few skeletons just half buried in the sand of what look like they might have been lions or some kind of large cat of some description. But besides that, it's a pretty desolate place. And the sun is really hot.
At this point, I'd like to say, guys, so there's a chance there's going to be a sandstorm, right?
I mean, depending on the weather, but maybe.
So would it be a smart idea to tie some rope to all our camels so we make sure we stay close?
Only if we see a storm actually start brewing.
Okay.
Unless flash sandstorms are a thing.
Well, I put the cloth near my face, just so if I need to, I can pull it up.
Well, as you do that, Torok looks around for a moment and then suddenly stops. And walking over to his camel, he picks up his fairly large bow and strings it. I would like everybody to just be ready, okay? I don't think we're necessarily in trouble, but I just want you to just be on guard for the minute, all right?
I load the heavy crossbow.
He starts walking off ahead of you. He appears to get about 200, 300 feet in front of you, and he disappears behind a sand dune.
Okay.
Look around carefully.
Make perception checks.
Who, everyone?
Everyone, if you wish to look around, make perception checks.
That's 3, so 5. Wait, does everyone have a ranged weapon?
I did not do well there. I do.
Not on me, but you've seen some pretty impressive spit before.
Well, do you want a light crossbow?
I
No.
seem to have misplaced my character sheet.
How did you achieve this?
I don't know. I was eating
Magic.
pizza and then it just disappeared. That's my doodle.
We're doing well, people. We're doing well. Right. It must have fallen down the side of the chair.
Okay. Hi.
It's alright. Based on your rolls, you can't really see anything. The desert just seems to stretch on for miles and miles. The sun is just beating down on you. Everyone who's wearing plate is feeling a little sweaty and uncomfortable. But you can't see or hear anything at the moment. About 4 or 5 minutes pass, and then you notice Taruk come back from the same direction, just appearing back over the dune and walking back towards you. Well, okay, that's fine. I just had to check something.
What's the matter?
Well, he says, when you get further and further out into the deserts, you find more, shall we say, tribal individuals, most of them dragonborn, and they like raiding caravans from time to time. So, especially as we're so far off the beaten track, and I know for a fact there is a clan operating in this area, I figured it was best just to scout ahead for a little bit and make sure that everything was okay.
Fair enough.
I didn't notice anything at the moment, so it's safe for us to continue, I think.
Okay, just correct me if I'm wrong, but if we get into combat, are the camels going to be scared?
The camels will be scared, yes.
Shit. So if we get into combat, there's every chance we could lose the camels.
Well, let me put it this way. I wouldn't mount them and try to charge something.
I mean, I was just going to sort of circle them with my crossbow.
He takes his camel and he goes, I think it's fine for us to continue for now. We need to keep heading, and he points towards the sun that's starting to get low in the sky now. We keep walking towards the sun, we shall start seeing some dust clouds, and that will be where the Blue Dragon is.
Excellent.
And he starts
Okay.
leading you all in that direction. You make camp for the night, and it's fairly calm. No particular features to mention. The only thing of note is that Torok does manage to lead you towards what seems to be a very shallow, muddy pool. It's about 15 feet in diameter, but he takes a water skin to it and he starts filling it up with water, and he says, "Trust me, the water here is quite safe. I used this little oasis many times. So if you need to
fill up my water skin.
if you need to refill your water, I suggest you do it now. It might taste a little earthy, but that's just going to add to the texture."
I give Staggy a drink and fill up my water skin.
Staggy is incredibly grateful for the drink.
Sure, let's go top up while we're there.
So when you top up your water and you have your first evening's rations, Torok goes, "So, boys and girls, I suggest you all get a good night's sleep. We will be leaving at, well, as early as possible, really. But I suggest you all at least get a good 6-8 hours.
Okay.
Who wants to stay up
I saw-
first?
I was gonna say I still think it's probably best to have some kind of watch going, maybe with 2 and 2 or something like that, or 2 and 3.
Well,
I don't
I'd
mind.
stay up first.
I'll take next watch.
Turok smiles. In that case, you and the bard stay up, and I will take the watch after you, and the 2 tieflings can take the last watch.
I get out my flute.
I think I'll stay awake with the Dragonborn.
Mm.
Turok.
I can also read.
Which
I'm gonna go back
which
up and
Dragonborn? Stormblessed or...
No, with our guide.
Yeah, Stormblessed isn't the Dragonborn. He's mostly human.
Okay. Apologies. Right. So, yeah, Turok shrugs and says, "Very well. If you and the elf stay up, I will turn in." And you notice that even though there are tents all set up, he literally just lies down on the sand, yawns loudly, and starts sleeping. The last thing he does is pulls his hood over his eyes. Starts breathing gently. As the rest of you go to sleep, Stormblessed and Aurora, make perception checks, please.
Yeah. Oh, thank goodness for that.
Okay, it is now about... let's see, another time. It's around about midnight at this point. It is very dark. Yeah, luckily for you, there is the moon and the stars, so that there is some dim light for those who require it. But
I stop praying.
are you not sleeping, Sam?
Oh yeah, well, during my watch I'll stop praying.
Well, it's not your watch yet, but okay, duly noted. Yeah. Aurora,
Mhm.
you notice a shape streak across the sky. It is quite a distance away and was moving very, very fast.
What colour?
It was quite large. You notice it heading in the direction of where the setting sun would have been.
Do I hear anything?
The only thing you can hear is a very gentle...
It's a dragon.
You presume it's the sound of leathery wings.
Yay.
It's a long ways off, but it's quite loud beat. Do you point this out to Stormblessed?
Yes.
Stormblessed. Aurora taps you on the shoulder and points.
Oh,
You
dear.
think you can see a blurry outline of what looks like something large flying towards where the setting sun was.
Right.
It's quite a long way away, so it's getting smaller all the time, but you notice it heading in that direction.
Well, I do the wisest thing possible and stay quiet and don't attract attention in any way.
Very good. The rest of your watch goes fairly uneventfully. At this point, Torok wakes up and goes, "Right then, I suppose I'm taking over from you lot. Is it Tullius who's...
Galaris.
Yep.
Is it Tullius who's having the last watch?
Yeah.
All right then." Sits up with Galaris. "I'm curious, why were you so keen to have the watch with me?"
Just force of habit. We always try to have at least one member of our group in on watch all times. It helps us keep the habit as well.
He smiles with a very toothy smile and says, "Very sensible habit. You never know what individuals you have to share your camps with or where you're travelling. You always keep your friends close. Very sensible, very sensible."
I don't think so. It's served us well so far. So, how about yourself? How long have you been doing this business of escorting travelers through the deserts?
Oh, long time. I grew up in one of the nomadic clans that operate in the desert. And it just seemed quite natural to be a guide, especially as I know the place like the back of my hand, and, well, it's amazing how people can get lost really, really easily.
One should never underestimate the natural world. So thank you for your efforts and help.
Oh, that's fine. I quite like to see the Blue Dragon gone. It's made life complicated to live in the desert. Do you know how difficult it is for a blue dragon, an adult blue dragon, to, well, not be hungry?
Can't say I do, but I can imagine it's a somewhat futile prospect.
Let me put it this way. Blue dragons will eat everybody and anybody, and, well, there have been plenty of clans in the desert that aren't walking anymore, if you take my meaning. Some of the clans find this a good thing, some of them find this a bad thing. I'm leaning somewhere towards this is probably a bad thing in the long run. You take your next.
How long do we have before the sun comes up, do you think?
He has a think. He has a think, and he goes, the sun will probably only rise at around about. Let me see now. If we stay awake for 4 or 5 hours, and then your friend has the last watch, the sun will be up in the sky by about 7 o'clock. We're still in. It's still spring. Everything's popping up early now. Your shift goes by fairly uneventfully. Eventually, your watch is over, and Torok pokes Tullius. Your turn, Tiefling. I'm going back to sleep. He goes back to sleep. Do you go to sleep, Galaris?
I think I will, yeah.
Okay. It's starting to get closer to dawn.
I don my armor.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure my weapons are ready.
Mm-hmm.
Load my heavy crossbow.
Mm-hmm.
Then I pray to the moon and the sun.
Okay. Couple hours into your watch, make a perception check for me.
That's free, but I got proficiency.
Yeah. Everything is fine. You don't notice anything.
I don't agree with you.
It
That sounded very sarcastic.
was a little, wasn't it?
Yeah, then I know something's wrong. You just make me do it randomly. Just so I don't know.
That's keeping me opposed.
Paranoia. Yeah. Everything's absolutely fine.
That game, actually.
Yes, it gets to 7 o'clock and the sun is high, and Torok wakes up, stretches, his tail hits the ground, and he goes, okay. And it's at this point that you notice most Dragonborn don't have tails. He has quite a long one that was at this point hidden beneath his robes, which he now stretches when he wakes up. You have your morning rations, get all the equipment packed away, load up the animals, and start heading further into the desert.
Actually, I've got a question here.
Mm-hmm.
Tiefling have tails.
Yes.
So do we have armor on our tails?
Armor on your tails?
Yeah, do we have, like, chainmail on our tails?
Probably not. It
No.
might just be enough to cover the base.
You would have chainmail
When
covering...
you think about how heavy a tail is and how heavy armor is.
Yeah, you'd have chainmail covering the very base, like where your tail starts, but after that it becomes a bit pointless.
Okay, I'd just like to say, for the sake of argument, I'd cover the rest up with cloth then.
Sure.
Probably not a bad idea, to be honest.
Yeah, keep it out of the sun. You continue on your journey. It's been a fairly uneventful day, actually. You starts hitting about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, though, and you start noticing that what was once a perfectly blue sky, with the sun slowly getting lower and lower, you notice that there's the blue sky is getting a bit distorted, muddled. It's almost like you're not quite sure, something partially blocking out the sky. And Turok points towards this and says, "That is the direction we need to go. That is where the sandstorms tend to originate from, and that's where we'll find our blue dragon."
Who's doing first watch?
Well, we don't have to worry about that. There's some ruins about a few more hours travel. I'd rather be there so that we are out of the worst of the sandstorms. It's all the same to you.
Okay.
Everybody okay with this?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds fine to me.
You continue walking, and by the end of the day, you do manage to make it towards some what appear to be ruins. You can't really make out what this once was. It looks like it may have been a village at one point, but the stony structures are all crumbled in, and no one's been living here for quite some time. You can tell. You start packing all your things, and it's at this point I'd like everyone to make perception checks, please.
Oh boy.
+3, so 19.
Let's see. Oh damn, there we go.
Oh, nice.
2 for the cleric.
Right. All of you start noticing that once you've put all your tents and got your horses all settled and such, that the sandstorm that looked like it was a fair distance off, it's getting closer.
Might be good to try and find some cover and maybe secure the animals.
Yeah, I go to secure the animals, then cover all my exposed parts of my body of cloth.
Okay.
Just
Is there anywhere in the ruins we can sort of tuck in cover and safety?
There are some walls that are facing the sandstorm where you could get a little bit of cover. Disembodied laughter in the background.
That's fine.
Yeah. There are some nooks and crannies where you could get a little bit of cover from maybe the worst of the sandstorm, but not really enough for you all to hide in.
Right, in that case, maybe we should get the horses to stand across one side, so we're effectively creating a corral. Horses and camels on one side, wolves on another, and create ourselves a zone of relative calm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Turok agrees with this and says, "Well, see if we
Could
can
also
get."
maybe set up like tents or something to cover us up as well.
He starts taking down the tents and he says, "No point having these up; they'll just blow away." But as he starts taking them down, he looks up and he places an arrow on his bow. "Oh damn!" And he points. Coming out
Can I
from
see what it is?
coming out from the sandstorm, you notice what look like smaller storms, but these are
Oh no.
moving much faster towards you. And you notice deep yellow eyes peering out from each one of these. And
No, that's not good.
and 3 of them start moving very, very quickly towards you. See if I can.
Oh, I'd hate for this to be boring.
Can anyone make a, I don't know, nature check about what that's about?
Survival, maybe?
Nah, because that's what I also do with the actual, like, person surviving rather than the creatures themselves.
Can everyone see the map?
Yes, I can.
I could try and do nature check because I got +4.
It's true. Make a nature check if you so choose.
Good. That's not bad.
Yeah. These are what are known as dust devils. They are corrupted air elementals that have bonded with the deserts and become destructive whirlwinds. They're not very pleasant, and they tend to love grabbing things and shredding them apart inside them.
Yay!
Can
Oh,
we
charming.
capture them? Can we catch them as pets?
No. Let's just make that clear, no. Right. As they start getting closer, I would like everyone to roll initiative, please.
Boy.
I couldn't find camels, so I've got horses. And I need to give you guys control of your caricatures quickly.
Okay.
Okay, 20.
I had to wait for George to turn up because I couldn't give him control.
What am I rolling?
Initiative.
18, 20 plus your text modifier.
Okay, I got 20, Michael.
11.
4.
Actually, what is my dex modifier?
And now's the point where I try and remember how to add these guys to the initiative thing.
Oh, got 21 even. Sorry.
So if anyone gets it to the actual 20, you have, like, yeah.
Oh, come on. Right click a token and add 10. Cool. Add 10. To rook there. Right, so natural 20 for Sam. Very good. George got 4. Tim got 11. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Where's Sam's character? There it is. 20. Tanya got 8. To Rook. Bring up his little character sheet that I made. +3. Well, that was something. Right. Dust Devils. And the last one.
Oh, I got a lot.
Right. Okay. Starting at the top of the round, it is the Dust Devil. The one coming from directly in front of the sandstorm swishes towards you. It is a very large entity. 1, 2, 30, 40. And it heads straight for Taruk. And actually places all of you in yourself and Amberhorn inside of its sphere, and you all become completely surrounded by this whirlwind of sand that's just striking you. Even though it's like little particles of sand, it's just this horrible stinging sensation as it peppers you all over. I need you to make a strength saving roll, please, Amberhorn.
As you say,
Yeah.
Strength saving throw, yes.
You get +3 to the save.
Yep, because of your paladin friend.
Okay.
Yep. Because
Right.
Horus loves you.
Anyway, so that'll be a +6 in total.
And Turuk tries to make one as well.
Ooh, that's not good.
Ooh.
Turuk manages to. Sorry, Turuk digs his claws into the sand and holds on for grim death, being peppered with all the sandy particles. You, however, Amberthorn, take 15 points of bludgeoning damage, and you are thrown 15 feet
Bullshit.
straight back, and you hit into one of the stone walls, breaking just through it over the edge and taking 4 points of damage.
Damn. You did 20 points of damage in one go. That hurt a smidge.
Yeah.
Good thing I could heal.
Turuk took 7 points of damage because he managed to cling to the ground and not be thrown, and he rolled really well on his strength save. It is now Tullius's go.
Okay, I use. Damn it. What's it called? Sorry, I'll just use it. I use my ability to use 2 turns in one 2 actions in 1 turn, and I charge into that dust devil, into melee combat with the dust devil, and I start to fight him.
Okie dokie. Make an attack roll.
Okay. I also take the penalty. You know what I'm on about, don't you?
For Great Weapon
Extra
Master.
damage.
That's fine.
Just checking. Yeah, +6. No, it's +1.
That unfortunately does not hit.
I get 2 attacks, don't I?
You do, yes.
As I charged, I don't get attacked with that action, do I?
You don't know.
Okay, has just checking spike. Hold on, as I attack only with a glaive, I can use my bonus action to attack with the other end.
Okay.
Okay, penalty.
No, you're struggling. This air elemental form, you keep slicing it, but the glaive just passes it through it harmlessly, not seeming to cause it any particular distress.
I miss magic missile. Just so many things I killed.
It is the second elemental's turn. It starts moving towards you.
Not Miss Daggy.
It seems only interested in the horse.
Okay.
Stop horsing around.
So the horse needs to make a strength save. Which it passes.
It gets a +3.
It passes. So it only takes 7 points of damage. Which is a good thing too, because horses have 9 hit points.
Yikes.
Save the horses.
It's
I mean, Farron has more, but still.
yeah. Farron, I'm just going to say, is the grey one that's just in the corner there.
The one that's been eating too many oatcakes.
Yes.
It gave him the ability to survive.
Yeah. But
Thrive.
that's all it chooses to do this turn. It seems to just be enjoying inflicting pain. It's not seeming to care that much. The next one starts moving over towards Farron. And attempts to do the same thing. What is the strength of Farron, Stormbreast?
It's a standard. In terms of its saves, it's the standard warhorse.
Okay, so I'll roll for its save. Oh dear. So
Well, we're down one horse.
Farron.
Farron. Horse or a camel?
Well, I know that would have been a camel that the first one was chewing on. So Farron unfortunately takes 15 points of damage and is thrown 15 feet away and collapses onto the ground.
Yeah, if that's all its hit points, it will vanish.
Oh, okay, of course, because it's a celestial horse, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it does in fact vanish. It goes poof.
Woo! I'll get you for that.
The Dust Devil looks confused. Speaking of which,
It's like, that was my dinner.
yeah,
Like horse go proof.
yeah, horse go poof. It disappeared. Speaking of which, Stormblessed, that blooming thing just killed your horse.
Right. I'll settle with that one in a second. As a bonus action, I cast a magical weapon as a prayer. And then I give the one that's... and I'm also going to step, shall we say right now, 5 feet, so I'm not being flanked.
Yep.
If you want.
You are currently in the middle of a Dust Devil sandwich.
Yeah, which doesn't sound like my kind of thing. So I take a 5-foot step, and I'll give the good news to the AD Dust Devil.
Make roll an attack.
Okay, first attack is 11 to hit, which I don't think is going to hit, is it?
Unfortunately, no. Your sword, magical as it is, does pass through the Dust Devil without seeming to harm it.
Yeah. Second attack, 24 to hit.
That hits.
Okay, 12 points of damage, and because I'm ticked, smite level 3 for an additional 20 points of radiant damage.
Ooh. Right. That
Smite the air.
it really did not enjoy that at all. The smite goes straight through the Dust Devil. You can hear what sounds like a bestial howl coming from it, and its eyes now fix on you.
I'm not surprised.
It is Torok's turn. He is going to take a 5-foot step away from the Dust Devil. And then he decides he will try and get a bit more distance. However, that does create an attack of opportunity. 16 plus 8. Unfortunately, that does hit him. So that's 2d8. As he runs away, he takes 9 points of damage, but he strings his bow, brings it around, and decides to fire a shot. So 1d20 plus 8, and it hits. And he does a d8 plus 3 worth of damage, doing 7 more. The arrow flies through and it seems to disappear into the sandstorm, but the creature growls in irritation. Not nearly as impressive as the smiting it received earlier, but every little helps. Tanya, it is now your turn. Your friends are being surrounded by sandstorms with angry eyes. Staggy is a little too close to one of them. What do you wish to do? Okay. Staggy moves away. It does create an attack of opportunity, however, but it misses. How far away do you want Staggy to move?
As far away from them as possible.
It can get to there. And you have many options. You can choose to... You can hit them with Thunder Wave. You can use Fairy Fire, which gives everyone advantage to hit them. Or you can call Lightning.
I don't think calling lightning would be a good idea.
The other thing you can do is you can use your Bardic Inspiration to give everyone bonuses to attack rolls, damage, or ability checks. Or you can attempt to just hit it with your sword. Thunder Wave would do something.
Try Thunder Wave.
Okay.
I don't know what it actually is, but we'll try it. It sounds fun.
Okay. Okay. So, if you move towards your tent, you're close enough to hit both Dust Devils. In fact, if you move,
I can't.
If
It's
you-
not this one.
if you move to the middle, let me make sure.
It's not really doing what I want it to do.
Oh, there you go. Now you've moved it. If you move there, you can hit all 3 Dust Devils.
Okay.
Okay. So now they all have to make Constitution saves. So the one that's wounded. Sorry, trying to use phones and internets all at the same time. What's your spell attack? Spell DC, sorry, not spell attack. Front page.
15?
Okay, so that one passes. The one that threw Tim's horse, natural 20, and the one that started eating a camel fails. So that one takes full damage. And Thunder Wave. Right. I'd like you to roll 2d8 thunder damage, please, Bubby.
2.
Yeah, 2d8. Cool. So this one takes 8, the other 2 take 4, and the one that failed its save gets pushed back 10 feet. Just directly away from you. Your bardic friend starts... What instrument are you playing to do this effect?
My triangle.
Your triangle. Your wood elf friend walks towards the centre of the campfire. She looks to all 3 dust devils, cracks her knuckles, and brings out a tiny silver triangle. A tiny silver triangle, which the dust devils stare at in confusion, and she just goes, ding, and a cacophonous, thunderous roar comes from it, wounding all 3 dust devils and sending one flying backwards from the force of the blast. The one that flew back is... Speaking of which, George, would you like to no longer be prone on the ground?
Yes, I would like to stand up.
You stand up.
Is that a bonus action or is that my whole move action?
That's half your movement.
Oh, good thing I can then go and use the rest of my move to get back into combat with it. Or rather,
Absolutely.
I'm then going to character sheet to remind myself what the heck to do. I could do a Divine Strike. I haven't done one of those before. And heck, I want to get some revenge on this thing. So.
Does anyone have like a jar or something?
A jar?
A jar.
Why would we?
Okay, so once per turn, on each of my when I hit a creature with weapon attack, I can cause the attack to deal me an extra D8 radiant damage to the target.
Oh, I just realised something.
So,
Sorry.
Let's try.
Bubby, as a bonus action, you can choose to inspire one person, if you so choose.
I finished my turn and it's George's turn.
But I'm just letting you redo that because I realised I should have told you. It's your first time playing a bard. So you can offer a D10, a D8 inspiration dice, to give them a bonus for attack, damage, or a save. Okay, George.
Yes.
That triangle was incredibly inspiring. You have an extra D8.
What's the hit or to wound it?
To hit, to damage, and for checks and saves.
Cool. Does a 19 hit it?
A 19 most certainly does hit it.
Right, then damage, which is a D6 plus 3 plus D8. So.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is. You were worried, Bubby. He started rolling ones.
Oh wait, I also get my Divine Smite thing as well.
Yeah,
so
Divine Smite.
So I get a bit more damage to fail. Which is going to be another D8.
Oh, that's better.
There we go.
So that's a grand total.
Did alright.
7, 8, 9, 14. Okay. Yeah, you lay into it with your mace, divinely smiting it with your smitiness. This one is, and I'm just going to mark it, just so you know, it's looking a bit rough. It's the whirlwind that it once was is starting to slow. It's looking a little bit tired. However, it is its turn. In irritation and frustration at everything that's happening around it, it moves directly forward. Stormblessed and Terentius, I need you to make strength saving throws.
Okay.
+6, so 11.
You also get +3.
Oh.
Which is really, really good because he's a paladin who.
Ali.
Yeah,
because
Teamwork.
Arrhenius loves you.
Which is
14.
Which is really good for you because the DC save was 13. So, you each take 7 points of damage, but you are not thrown.
Is it magical damage?
No, it is just bludgeoning damage.
Excellent. So how much was that?
That is 7 each.
Okay.
And with its multi-attack, it chooses to swipe at the cleric with one of its sand-covered fists. That would be a 16 plus 8. I'm guessing your AC is 20, George?
It is.
Alright, it has punched you. It's going to roll for damage.
Wait, that's 16. Got it? Damn.
Wait, Michael,
Mhm.
is it within 5 feet of me?
Yes.
Okay, so as it attacks someone else, I get to attack it with my reaction.
You do. Take 5 points of damage, George.
Cerulean get an opportunity attack as well?
I think it's a class
Can I get
feature for a fighter, isn't it?
No, I got
No,
it because
it's a class feature that the Dust
Large
Devil,
extension. So,
the Dust, the
If
Dust,
it casts a spell or tries to move away,
Range.
yeah. If the Dust Devil tried to move away from you, then yes. But
if it moves in range of me, I get to attack it too.
so
Because of I want to place. Okay, so do you want me to roll the attack, Michael?
yeah, make your reaction. 'Cause that was a particular feat you took. That hits.
Shame. Almost critted. Okay. Did it hit?
Yeah, it hit. Roll for damage.
Okay, so that would be because I took the penalty. 1d10. No, 1d10 plus 13.
And with that, your glaive parts the storm from top to bottom, and it dissipates. The creature is no longer a threat.
At this point, I say, finally, I got back in the game.
And it is now your turn.
I move myself in a position to defend the cleric.
Well, that's the Wood Elf Bard.
Oh, bard, sorry. The bard.
I'm fine. I'll put myself next to.
Oh yeah, you're over there, so you're relatively safe. I'm going to defend the bard.
Like that I did. Alternatively, defend the camels and horses. Already lost one.
Yeah, but can't he resummon it?
Mm-hmm. No, we also lost a live one. Like, wasn't summoned.
Oh, did we?
No,
Yes.
you haven't lost a live one yet, but
Oh, I thought we had.
No. This
I
one,
thought
this one's only got 3 hit points left.
It's pretty fucked up, but it's alive.
So hang on, we had 4 mounts though. Where's the other one gone?
The deer.
Because we have lost. Because there's the deer, there's the horse, there's the camel. Where's the other one?
That was the paladin mount.
yeah, that one disappeared.
Yeah, like I said, we had 4 mounts. So like, where's the 4th one?
One of them disappeared.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to disappear. Where's where's the 3rd mount?
Oh, the camel that was with Torok.
Yeah.
That is due to. Well, that's due to your DM not having enough horses on the map at the correct time.
Okay, fair. But then, because there's 4 apart from the NPC, there's like 4 of us riding. Is Aurora riding the stag?
Aurora is riding a stag, yes. So what I'm going to do to make
Right. Okay. Sorry. That is the mount.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So-
We lost one of the other ones. Sorry.
there we are. A camel.
Aurora had a camel.
A camel mysteriously appears behind you, George.
Ghost camel.
The phantom camel.
It's a camel with a leveling rogue and a captain.
So, Sam,
Acid
are
spit.
you just readying your action, or what are you doing?
Yeah, actually, no, it's. If I step there, could I attack it because it's got a range of 10 feet?
Yes, you could.
Okay.
You can make 2 attacks on it if you so choose.
Okay. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, that'll hit.
What, 2?
Oh no, sorry, I'm looking at your previous roll. Never mind. No, that will most certainly not hit. You're having the same problems. You're cleaving into it, but it just seems to pass harmlessly through.
I got plate armor, but I didn't get a magical slave.
It is now the Dust Devil's turn. Looks around for a minute and starts heading towards, ignoring the horse this time, it tries to make a strike on both the paladin and the bard. On the bard, that 6 is the first one I rolled. So that would be... That's 14 to hit. What's your armor class? 13. So that does unfortunately hit you. You take 10 points of damage.
No, I refuse.
You refuse.
Yeah.
If only it was that simple. And
But it is.
on the paladin, oof. Your AC's 20, isn't it, Tim? Tim?
He's muted himself, so.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
Okay, yeah. Stormblessed, your armor class, what is it?
21.
Yeah, no. It swings towards you, but you manage to use your shield and push it out of the way.
Right.
One sec.
It's like
Yeah,
20.
it's next dust devil, I guess.
You might have to, after this,
I'll do it after this encounter.
do what?
Finish the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because of
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello.
Right, sorry guys. Just realizing how late it's getting, after this encounter, we'll arrange for the next session, okay?
Okay.
It is now the second Dust Devil's turn, and it moves over both.
Attack of opportunity.
Yep, you get one.
No. I mean, I attack of opportunity when it's in front of me.
Yeah.
What reduces its movement?
Oh.
To 0.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it cannot engulf me.
Okay.
Also,
Make-
let's try and move away from all. Oh no, speak. Oh no, the one that's used it. Another interview.
Make your roll. Unfortunately, that doesn't stop it. So it does manage.
I really need to get better strength.
So it engulfs both
You're
of you.
character with bad strength, dude.
I need both of you to make strength saving throws. Tanya,
no, it's a
Tanya, and
It doesn't
Sam.
hit. Its movement's just reduced to 0.
Let's double check the wording on that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that myself,
What am I
but I'm
doing?
fairly sure its movement's just reduced
Roll a
to
d20
0.
and add your strength bonus.
I don't have a strength bonus.
Yeah, it's when you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, its speed
Okay.
becomes 0.
No,
So plus 0. So just
sorry?
1d20.
Yeah, so. Because Jesus, if you didn't need to hit it to do that, that would be actually broken. Like, oh, I wave in your direction, you can't move.
I aimlessly flail.
Alright,
Stand in
Sam,
place.
have you made your strength saving throw?
Nope, doing it now.
Remember your plus 3.
Oh. So, 20.
Right, so
Did I get a +3?
you do, because you're in the bubble. And the DC save is 13.
I got 13.
You just make it. You both take 7 points of damage, but you're not thrown, because it could have been much worse. It is now the Paladin's turn. Stormblessed. You're surrounded by swirling sandstorms.
Right, I guess I'll give the one next to me the good news then.
Give it the good news.
Or not.
Not like that, unfortunately.
Does a 15 hit?
15? That says 14.
It's plus 1 because magical weapon.
Of course it does. Yes, it just hits.
Okay, in which case, I'm not rolling well, so I'm going to take my opportunity. So that's 5 points of magical damage from the sword,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll give it the other smite level 3 for an additional 23 radiant damage.
Oof. Yeah, that
Yeah,
that really shook it. It's feeling unwell. The smite ripples through its sandy, swirling form, and it, for a second, seems to struggle to hold itself together. Do you have... I know you've used both your attacks, haven't you?
Yep.
Okay, it's now Torok's turn. He, noticing that you've wounded this one, he uses his special ability called Wounded Prey, which means he gets to add an extra d8 to his damage if the prey he shoots at is injured. So he takes his longbow, aims very carefully, and misses with the first shot. He snarls in frustration and tries a second time, and just hits. Thank God for that plus bonus. So that is 2d8 points of damage plus 3. And oh yeah, plus Hunter's Mark. Damn, forgot Hunter's Mark. Hunter's Mark. Sorry, I'm just looking up the spell quickly.
Is Tan humming the match of the day thing?
Apparently so.
My childhood.
What are you chatting about your childhood? You never watched Match of the Day.
No, but Dad does. Rob did. A lot. Because I sometimes watch it. I mostly like Top Gear. I like cars.
Hang on, sorry, I'm trying to find Hunter's Mark.
Not good enough, Karen. Be more organised.
I know I should add a default. Okay, that's for 20 points of damage in total. The arrow flies into the Dust Devil, and it shrieks in pain as it dissipates. Like, 50 points of damage in one turn is quite respectable. Tanya, it is your turn. You're in the middle of a swirling sandstorm. Would you like to mock it to death? Which is a thing you can potentially do.
What was the other one?
You can thunder wave it, you could strike it with lightning. Well, I wouldn't recommend strike it in lightning right where you are, because...
What about the laugh one?
Oh, the, Tasha's Hideous Laughter.
Yeah. What does that do?
That makes it essentially... Let me just check what it's immune to.
You read a jar, could we track it?
Hang on, I just need to check something here. Incapacitated. Huh. Interesting. Okay. So, no, I've just realised this is something this creature isn't immune to. So, it needs to make a wisdom saving throw. And believe it or not, these creatures aren't particularly wise. Well, yep. So, whilst it doesn't stop the sandstorm completely, it lessens to the point that the sand is now just kind of hitting you very gently. And you could swear, even though you can't see a mouth, this creature is laughing. There's this weird, deep, and it's clutching its sides. It's almost collapsing to the ground, unable to do anything. It's currently, it seems like it's stuck. So I'm going to put a little mechanic symbol there because it needs maintenance. What do you wish to do with your movement or bonus action? It's currently incapacitated, so not a threat to you at the moment. Do you want to move away from it? Okay, I will move you away. What do you wish to do with your bonus action? It's George's turn next.
Inspire George.
How do you wish to inspire him? You can tell a joke, play a
George.
song.
I'll play a song.
George, your wood elven bard starts playing a song on the flute, and the music sounds for some reason it makes you think of home. It makes you feel emboldened and brave. You add a D8 to a roll.
What about the triangle of death?
That's for thunder waves or calling lightning.
I don't know what my drums are for yet, my bongos.
Yeah, you haven't decided what the bongos are for.
Just to really annoy Sam, I think.
So, George,
I might buy a triangle
just to play it when you do it. Yeah. What do you wish to do? You're feeling inspired.
A spell. Where is it? Mass. Let's see. That's not the range. That's the thing. I need to quick look at it. Less than range. Yeah, let's do prayer of healing. So all of us and apart from the four of us, is anyone else damaged? Is our guide damaged? Are the mounts damaged at all?
The horse is damaged.
The
Donkey, not donkey, the camel.
The camel is damaged. Right. The bard, I believe you've taken some damage. I believe everyone has, including Torok, has taken some damage.
Cerulean's looking a little dusty.
So the five of us and the one animal that is alive and still damaged, each will get two. I'll roll it. We each get 2d8 plus 4 hit points back. So let's see how that goes. Nice. Okay, so everyone gets 13 HP back.
Are you back to full?
So you're proud of the force of life and vigor. You guys feel rejuvenated and you feel your wounds healing.
Lovely.
I've only
Got my
lost my hit
sheet.
points, I think, then.
I do. Sorry.
Ooh, everyone gets 13 HP back.
Woo! Is that a bonus action or a action?
No, it's one of the main actions.
Okay, what do you wish to do with your other action? You currently have
Another action. Probably just have to move.
the storm. The last dust devil appears to be incapacitated. It's still swirling on the spot, but it seems to be clutching its sides, and it looks really confused. And just its eyes keep moving in all directions.
Behind the cover of my allies.
Okay. That'll be your turn. Sam, it's your turn. You're inside the dust devil, but it seems to have slowed.
Try attack it.
Okay, you have advantage, and if you hit it, it counts as a crit because it's incapacitated.
Does that hit?
That does hit, and it counts
as a crit.
and it counts as a crit because it's incapacitated.
Okay, that's important later if it counts as a crit.
But it does now make an intelligence save.
Okay, well, I'm just going to put in the damage, right?
Yep, do your damage.
1d10 plus 13.
Oh my god. Right, just do your damage and I'll explain what's just happened.
I did. I just did my damage.
19 points.
19.
Nice. So,
Crit, so the 6 doubles, right?
yes. So that's
Okay.
12 plus 13.
Yeah.
For 25. So, as you swing your glaive, parting one of its swirling arms from its body and it dissipating and falling into the ground, you notice that the blow made its eyes angry for a briefest of seconds, and then it seemed to go back to this strange laughing fit it seemed stuck in. The creature has an intelligence of -5. It needed to make an intelligence roll of 4 or more. It rolled a 3.
Okay.
It is
Good
currently still incapacitated on the ground.
Okay, so that is +1. Oh, I've got advantage.
You have advantage. Unfortunately, so surprised by this sudden turn of events, you you swing at it, but it just seems to pass harmlessly through.
And as I crit, because of, just give me a second. Because of Great Weapons Master, if I, as I critted, I get to use my bonus action to make one more melee attack.
Okay. Yeah. So, it is the Dust Devil's turn, but it's currently incapacitated. It can't do anything. Tim.
I step over and give it the good news.
Both of those hit, and both are crits.
Yeah. Well, only the first one's a crit. No, it's a 19, not a.
Well, no, because it's incapacitated.
Because of its prone, right?
Yeah, it counts as
incapacitated.
any hit counts as a crit.
Okay, so that's 15 points of magical damage.
Yep.
And
A further 20 points of magical damage from the second strike.
yeah.
Yeah, and with both of those strikes slamming into its body, the creature, you swear you hear some almost disembodied laughter as the second slam practically makes it vanish into dust. And it's then you notice that bits and pieces fall to the ground. What you thought was just sand, you realise amongst the sand are the remains of things that the Dust Devils may have picked up and ground down to dust, or anything tough enough has managed to survive. There are bits and pieces that appear to have fallen on the ground around you, some of which look shiny.
Are any of them magical?
Make an investigation. Some of it's fallen into the sand.
Is that everyone?
Okay,
Everyone can investigate this.
16.
Not that one.
Plus my intelligence. My intelligence modifier is +1. Yeah, my intelligence is +1, so 17.
Okay. Did you want to investigate, George and Tim?
Sure, why not? Let's see what we can find. Oh boy, +1.
I don't think I had any pluses in it, did I?
No, you didn't.
I don't know. I just rolled D20, so I don't have lost the character sheet yet.
Again? Goodness sakes, look after your character sheet.
Found it.
Do you have any pluses?
So what was more of that?
Investigation. Are you trained in it?
Not anymore.
Yeah, your old character was trained in it, wasn't it?
I'm still annoyed about that last dungeon.
It's not my fault.
Mm.
I looked for the loot and you didn't.
I did look for the loot. I found a scroll. You found 3 grand's worth of stuff.
Right. We're going to go with the highest roll first. Rillian Stormblessed. You start searching around the bits of detritus from the first of these dust devils that you managed to knock out of the sky. And amongst it, you find 58 gold coins.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't quite believe your eyes, but you find a broom.
A broom.
A broom.
Is it a magical room?
It would pretty much have to be surviving a dust devil.
Try to ride it.
I hand it to
Maybe
Amber,
before
who can actually tell what the whole thing is.
You can see some markings on the side of it. Do you speak Draconic?
Yes.
It says up.
Uh,
What's up?
I did it as a joke.
Draconic. Because this is always going to be funny, I say up in Draconic.
The broom hovers above the ground.
Oh, look at that, a flying broom.
He's got a new mount.
Okay, guys, what about this? What about if we shove a load of oil on the broom, then fry it straight into the dragon?
I mean, it'll
don't
bounce
have
off
any
it.
oil.
I feel like a Crichton.
What?
I feel like a Crichton moment of an excellent plan, sir, with one of 2 major drawbacks. First, we don't have any oil.
Damn it, I miss my industrial quantities of oil.
I mean, we won't. I know we're in a desert, but we don't just have it to hand.
Yeah, I know, in the last campaign I had a lot of oil.
Right,
Just ridiculous quantities of oil.
Tanya,
And I got it relatively cheap, too.
Mhm.
you find amongst the dust devil that you were searching through, you find for yourself 60 gold coins and a ring. Let me describe it for you. It has really odd looking markings on it that you don't recognize. It's a ring that seems to slip over 2 fingers. So you have to wear it with, say, both your middle finger and your index finger. You're not sure what it does, but it has what you think are arcane looking markings on it. As I'm going to say, for the end of this session, you will find out what this does eventually. It's a ring of spell storing. What it does is you can store up to 5 levels worth of spells in it, and then you can use it to cast that spell for free. So you can put either 1 level 5 spell in it if you had a level 5 spell, or 5 level 1 spells.
What about 2 level 2 spells and a level 1 spell?
You could do that as well.
What about a level 3 and a level 2 spell?
You could do that as well.
What about a level
The
4
options are potentially endless.
Wait. So could we, for instance, say, give it to one of the cleric or the paladin, get them to use their smite on it, then say give it to me for the glaive. So when I get a critical hit, I use that to activate it.
I think you have to be able to cast the spell in question.
Also, you have to be attuned to it. So only the wielder of the ring can essentially use it.
That's a shame.
Right, now it is... Sam.
17.
Yep. You find for yourself, again, 60 gold coins.
Cool.
Actually, you find a belt. It has a a face on the front of it. It looks like it's made of bronze and a very thick, coarse leather. And the belt buckle is very striking. It's of a helmeted figure with a very big beard. Dwarvish, possibly.
Okay.
What this does is, it increases your constitution by 2. You have advantage on charisma checks, persuasion checks, when you interact with dwarves. In addition, whilst...
Made dwarves in the desert?
You don't know. But in addition to this, whilst attuned to the belt, you have a 50-50 chance of growing a beard. A full-length dwarven beard.
Why would you want that?
Well,
Beautiful.
here's the thing. I've got a knife, so I can easily shave.
Well, yes, but it will just grow back if you roll correctly the next day.
But why would you want a beard? Just because you want a beard, Michael, does not mean that everyone else is like it.
You also gain the additional bonuses. You have advantage on saving throws against poisons. You have resistance to poison damage. You have dark vision up to 60 feet, but you're a tiefling. That's sort of a...
So do I get a better version?
No.
Can I see in colour now?
No.
Oh.
But you can now speak, read, and write Dwarvish.
Okay. So, just gonna...
And lastly, George,
Hello.
you find 12 gold pieces, and you find a mace, and you realise it was one of the things that must have hit you. You think, you have the vaguest recollection of seeing this blur past your vision when you got thrown through the wall when you were smited by it. Yeah. So you're fairly sure this is worthwhile. I will just bring up the page so I can properly describe it to you. Right, here we go. It is a mace. You get +1 to your attack and damage. It's a magical weapon.
Right.
And when you roll a 20 on an attack roll with this weapon, a natural 20, it does 7 extra bludgeoning damage. And it has a single charge of smite. On that natural 20, the smite is expended. Well, sorry, if you roll the natural 20, you can choose to expend the smite.
Okay.
I sidle up to Galaris. So, have you ever thought about flying?
Often wandered idly, but not sure plate mail and brooms are good combinations.
Yeah, that's kind of one of my problems. I
Torok,
do like the look of that whacker.
What's Sam? Does he wield? What's he in armor and wielding weapon wise again?
Glaive and plate.
Ah, okay. So you got 3 plate wearers or 3 heavy armor wearers of some kind.
your bard is the bard and Torok are the only ones wearing any leather armor.
I take it to the bard, but she has an elk. But then maybe keep it as a backup,
Mm.
or we train the elk to ride it.
Yeah, the elk wanders back. Saggy wanders back, noticing that the dust devils are gone. Turok kind of dusts himself down, and you notice him patting the side of where the hole where an ear would be, and you notice sand starting to pour out of it. And he goes,
Fun.
"Well, that was something. We are definitely on the right track. This is what killed the first party I took this way."
And you survive again.
"That makes 4 times," he says with a smile.
And you didn't pick up the magical stuff?
We
Well, presumably he was too busy paying for his life.
I was quite busy running away, so yes. Although this is how I managed to get some of the trinkets I gave to my gnomish friend back there. It probably came from the Dragon's Hoard. And he shrugs. But who knows? I suggest we all... Sorry?
Okay, yep.
He says...
no, I'll let you continue.
He suggests to you all that they make camp, and he'll take the first watch.
Okay.
And I'm going to leave it for this evening. You are one day away from getting to the Blue Dragon's home.